Bruce,
Hey,
can you hear me?
I can, mate. Wow, you look just like your AI character, John.
Exactly
Have
the
you
same, mate. That wasn't an AA character, Bruce. What are you talking about?
have you got a filter on that
That was-
camera?
I'm not sure. I've got the same camera as you. I went out and bought a new 4K camera, like you said. I've even
Wow.
got a proper microphone. So I don't know how close I've got to be to or anything. So you might have to let me
No,
know if
that
I sound all right.
audio sounds great. Picture
Sounds all
sounds
right.
amazing.
Good. Good.
You look
And
very chiseled, mate. Have you lost some timber?
have a how? It must be putting it on, mate. It must be looking more healthy because I've put weight on.
I want that
I think
camera
that's
then.
what it is. No, I've not made any filters with anything. Honestly, I promise.
You look like A-list celeb, mate. You look.
It's because I've got no cap, mate. You see, they're more
Do you know what it-
sophisticated.
Do you know
Is
what
that
it
what
is?
it
It's a
is?
bit of Sean Connery about you. That's what it is.
Ah, do you know what? Were you on yet
Yes.
or not? Have you started?
Well, we can
No.
do. Shall we go?
Well,
Yeah.
sorry,
Folks,
I've
welcome
just got a
back
bit
to
of a story,
Brutal.
but it could be a funny one to say if you're recording.
Right, we'll go. We're going now. That's it.
Go. Oh, brilliant. Oh, now all my equipment's all right. Hey.
Action. Go on then, tell us your story.
Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, you
He's
said
professional, honest folks. He's done
you
this
said of
before.
my new setup.
Yeah.
Don't do many of these. You'll see why in a minute, Bruce. But you said I looked a bit chiseled in my setup, and I said I've got no cap on. I've got no cap. So, and you said I looked a bit like Sean Connery. I don't know how much of this is on there or not. Anyway, my story is I was walking every morning. I go for a walk, sort of 40 minutes. Well,
Yep.
say 30 minutes. Little walk around the block,
Down the stairs.
Down the stairs, back up again. Carrying 2 cups of tea this time.
Good lad.
But I was just walking around the block, and this woman coming the other way walking her dog, and I said, "Good morning," because I make a real effort to say good morning to everyone because everyone's so miserable. So good morning. I said to everyone, "Good morning," and anyway, this one goes, "Oh, morning. Oh, you look just like Sean Connery," and I was like, "I said, I'll take that. I'll take that this morning. Thank you very much." So you're not the first one, Bruce. You're not the first one.
Mate, I'm telling you, whatever you're doing at the moment, keep doing it. You look top notch, man.
It's just the cat, man. Honestly, it's been completely gone to pot. I've put about a stone on. I should be saying 21 stone fashioned with videos now, but I'm just keeping it 20 bad enough.
Someone said, was it Greg? Someone said that on one of your vids. I was watching some today, and someone said that when you said about 20 stone, they went 21.
Probably.
I remember.
Yeah.
Might have been one of the journals actually on one of your launches.
It's difficult, isn't it? The old wait for us larger gentlemen, Bruce, and I do include you in that, mate.
I feel your pain. I cannot get below 20 stone. I'm saying cannot. I haven't really tried too much, to be honest. He says stood here waiting for a pizza after the podcast and drinking beer. Slangs, by the way.
I had a pizza yesterday.
Yeah, mate, it's unreal, isn't it? Like 35, 40, bang, that was it. I used to sit around 17 and a half, 18 stone. That was kind of like a fighting-ish weight. I could get by on that. And then all of a sudden it jumped up to like 21. I was like, oh.
Living the good life, mate. That's what it is.
Contentment, that's what it
is. Cheers, mate. Anyway.
Slang, cheers to you. Right, bud, I know you have a bit of a time constraint here. You need to be gone by 8:30 latest.
Yeah.
There are a shed ton of questions on all platforms from what I can see.
Oh, okay, excellent.
I'm conscious that when there's a lot of questions on Patreon, I very rarely get across to like Instagram and Facebook. So let's try and batter through Patreon as much as we can, and then hopefully we can venture across onto the social platforms.
Yeah,
how's that sound?
Sounds fantastic. Yeah, go for it.
Awesome. We'll have a chat as we go. If my audio starts crackling up, let me know, because I think this connection can be a bit dodgy at times.
It's fine at the moment, mate. Perfect.
Right, lovely. All right, so we'll head across to the clans. That's patreon.com/TeapotOne. First one, Debbie Clegg. How you doing, Debbie? Hey, Chopsy. Hey, Bruce. One thing to say. KTM, discuss. And off you go. Sorry to interrupt, folks, but just a quick shout out for this week's sponsors, who are, as always, Ultimate Add-ons. Ultimate Add-ons have been back in the podcast for the last few years, and I've been using their products since probably around about 2017, 2018. They specialise in phone holders, so both the mounts that attach to your bike and the protective cases that your phone goes in. Now, these cases are shockproof, they're dustproof, they're the perfect things to put your phone in whilst you're on the bike, and even if you do have a mishap, your phone is nicely protected inside that case. You can still use the phone, you can still use the touchscreen, you can even still use the cameras. They do a wide selection of mounts. I use the ratchet strap cap, which is actually in their cycle section, but you can pick any one you like for your particular bike or a generic one. It's up to you. Ultimate Add-ons are also doing a number of other accessories, things like action camera mounts. They're also now doing heated grips. They do things like a balaclava, USB, USB-C, power adapters, lots of different things. Head to their website, check out the products, and if you use the code TeapotOne with the number 10, TeapotOne10, then you will get 10% off. A massive thanks to Ultimate Add-ons for all your support. And a massive shout out to all of you over in the clan, over on Patreons, patreon.com/TeapotOne. I literally could not do this full time without your support, folks. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for going that extra mile with your support. You're also the backbone of the Brewtime podcast with all your questions. So keep them coming and we'll go from strength to strength.
what an opener. What an opening question, eh? What an opener. Well, they're certainly getting a lot of stick at the moment, aren't they? Reliability wise, there's this whole cam issue supposedly, and all the rest of it. And I must admit, when I posted a vid, everyone's like, "Oh, yeah, breakdown." And, there's a lot of it out there. I don't know how much of that is just perceived, or I had a friend of a friend. It's so difficult, isn't it? To
people like to hate me, don't they? I get the same with BMW. Oh, yeah. I get the same with the 1300. Yeah. Rightly so. There's a lot of issues with it at the moment, but BMW are dealing with it. For me, anyway, they're dealing with it, and the people I know, they're dealing with it. And I've got to say, the mates I know that have KTMs, none of them have a bad word to say about KTM at the moment. Like it's and Ducati. It sounds like manufacturers and dealerships are actually picking the ball up here and running with it rather than just trying to boot it out of touch all the time. Do you like that little analogy?
That was good. That was very good. I slip that in there. Yeah, I agree, Bruce. And let's say BMW get a lot on the BMWs as well. And it's really difficult because obviously we only test these bikes for a couple of weeks, don't we? So we get no idea of any reliability problems. And if there is an issue during that 2-week period, normally sort of point it out. But because we don't test them long term, it's all just perceived and hearsay and what people say this, he said that. Yeah, it's a real tricky one.
But then I think I've been quite fortunate in that KTMs that I've always had an issue with.
You've always had an issue?
Yeah.
Oh, just about ones you've borrowed, you mean? Oh, really?
Yeah, of the press fleet. And it's the only one that has ever stopped me riding a bike was the 1290 Super Duke 2nd Gen, the last one.
Yeah.
That just purely because a simple washer failed and it dumped all its oil and coolant on my garage floor. That was it. So I think I rode it twice, but I fell in love. I thought it was an amazing bike. Yeah, and then the Super Adventures that I've ridden, it's just been electrical gremlins. But again, nothing that stopped me riding. It's just if you owned it, you'd have to get it sorted.
Yeah.
But I get the same stuff. I've got constant electrical issues with the 1300.
How much sort of trouble you had then? How many times has it had to go back to the dealer? How long you had it? 6 months?
God, where are we now? What's this? July, August now. So August, it's 10 months I've had it. 10 months. Really? So she's done 12,000 mile. Just had the big service on it. Nothing. She's never had to go back for anything that has stopped me riding. The bike's touch wood, it's always been reliable. It's always been rideable, but it's things like starter issues. It was like a 50% start rate on the first when you hit the ignition. You turn the bike on, hit the ignition, and I would say 5 times out of 10 it wouldn't start, and then you'd have to switch it off, switch it back on again, wait 20, 30, 40 seconds for that bloody battery to sort its life out. And then it would start. It's been back 2 or 3 times. In fact, it's had 3 starter relay recalls, the 1300. Right. The second time it went back, they seemed to fix the issue with the starter, and it's almost 100% starting now.
Yeah, so it's all...
Yeah, that's
starter related though. Yeah, because I think that was the problem with the fires originally, wasn't it? The starter motors would start burning and wouldn't stop. And
yeah. The mate of mine, Paul, the stammering biker, he actually It was one of his. It was his 1300 that caught fire.
Oh wow, was it really?
So yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean they've had nightmares with that. What else is it going back for? It's having a constant issue with the SOS. This is the first time I've ever had the
Oh
SOS
yeah,
function on my bike, and I've ridden loads of GSs. The Toro ones have all
yeah,
got it, and
yeah. Of
never
course,
ever
yeah.
ever had an issue. Occasionally something will come up on the dash if you go out of signal range, if it loses signal. But on mine, it's constantly on, literally
Hmm.
constantly. It keeps coming on all the time, and it just basically says there's a failure in the
It's not trying to
SOS.
call for help because we all sat on it.
Pot kettle.
Apologise.
Yeah, but again, it's nothing that has stopped me riding it. So I
Yeah,
still think it's a great bike. It's just I've recorded quite a bit of late. I've just recorded a vid about 12,000 mile service and my
yeah.
thoughts on the bike so far and what I plan to do with it. I've got to admit, I think I know the KTM's the bike for me, but
You
just
just
because the 1300s, it's just not engaging. It's just
yeah.
not engaging enough.
I did a launch in Spain a few months
Mm.
ago with Michelin. They launched the new sort of Anarchy range and a couple
Yeah,
of the sports tires on track. But we had an off-road, well, an on like a country lane sort of ride on load of
yeah,
adventure bikes, and they had a 1290 there, Super Adventure, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
it's got Bagsy. I need that one,
yeah,
Bagsy.
yeah.
And yeah, it was hooligan, absolute hooligan bike. And
It's nuts.
if yeah, I could have. It's just the looks of it. It's so, isn't it? That's the
I
thing. You
quite
either love
like
it or you
it.
hate it. I suppose.
I
You either
like it,
love it
and
or
I
you
like the
hate
new
it.
1390 as well. I like the look of it. I like
Yeah,
that
I
headlight.
do. I just find that Super Adventure though is a little bit that sort of funny headlight. I don't know.
Yeah,
I do struggle. That's the only one I really struggle with. I'm on
right.
board with the rest, but I do struggle with the Super Adventure. But what I'd really like to do is I've been sort of seriously considering this is buying a used rally Super
Yeah,
Adventure
yeah.
and getting a 17-inch front wheel made up and make it into a big supermoto with like
Ooh,
17-inch wheels on it.
oh,
Bit like the SMT they do, but do your
yeah.
own sort of 1290 SA version. I think that would be superb. Because I was really impressed with this one. I was like, it's just third gear.
Yeah, crazy, isn't it?
It's crazy. Yeah, it's
It's crazy.
crazy. It's definitely a bit of you, isn't it? It's definitely a bit of you.
Yeah, I've just bought a full. I've got a full exhaust system for the GS now, an Italian company called QD, and I've put the
Okay.
slip on just to see what effect it has, and it makes it a little bit raspier. Obviously, you've got to give
Yeah.
exhaust a few thousand
Yeah.
miles, haven't you, to bed in properly. So it is getting better with age, but it's still not even as raspy as like the Jekyll and Hyde that I had on before. And
I met
I'm
those guys the
hoping,
other day, by the way. They mentioned you.
good
I don't
lads.
know
Oh
which
yeah, yeah.
one of them. I don't know if it's Jekyll or Hyde. I'm not sure, but I met one of them.
Yeah, they're a good bunch, a good company.
Yeah.
And yeah, because I was supposed to get the new Jekyll and Hyde fitted at Garmisch, wasn't I? But that didn't happen. Never
Oh,
mind.
because that's why they were there. That's why I saw
Yeah,
them. That's why I
yeah,
met them.
yeah. They
Yeah,
were going to
yeah,
launch it on my bike,
yeah.
but well, Pete
Oh,
obviously, Trophy Pete's got it already on
yeah,
his one, but yeah. So I'm hoping that this decat system, I'm hoping that sort of just makes the bike a little bit fruitier, just
yeah.
because
Because
that
yours didn't have the Acra on. Yours just had a
no,
standard can on. It didn't have the because Acra's a waste of
yeah,
time. That
it is. I
factory
mean,
fit
it
Acra
makes
waste of
no
time.
difference. It
No
makes
difference
no
at all.
difference. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
bit lighter. That's it. There's certainly
yeah.
no sound difference at all. I would say.
Yeah. So I'm
So
hoping this
yeah,
new exhaust maybe just raises the engagement level a wee bit. It's a typical
yeah,
BMW. It's a victim of its own success. It's too good. It's too refined. It
yeah,
just needs to be a little bit
yeah.
raw, more raw. You know what I mean? But then is that their
It's
market?
yeah.
No.
Mm, well, that's it, isn't it? And people will sort of. I think that new one has attracted sort of some new people to the GS. I think because it is
Yeah.
definitely a bit more sporty and
Oh, aye.
a bit more like the KTM than the
Mhm.
1250. And when I rode, I was like, this is actually quite nice.
Mhm.
I did ride one down to Garmisch region, didn't I?
Yeah,
On the
watched it. Yeah,
motorway,
yeah.
it was like this is the best bike ever on the motorway. I mean, that screen as well, it was just perfect, isn't it? And I was like, yeah, this is actually really nice. But then when it gets really twisted, it's like, oh, can I go on an XR, please?
Yeah.
Because
So yeah, yeah.
the XR's a bit better when it gets proper twisty. But
I still prefer. I
yeah, it's a
still
good
prefer
bike.
the GS to the XR. I
Yeah,
just
I
don't.
wouldn't have a GS now. I rode back from Garmisch on my
Yeah.
own on the XR, and I sort of really bonded with it.
Yeah.
And I sort of understood what it was all about. And if you get on the twisty roads, it's phenomenal around some
Uh-huh.
twisties. Not much more on the GS. You know, you can ride it almost like a proper sports bike. And the M version is just bonkers. I
Yeah.
know you rode the M1000 single R, didn't you, recently?
Can't
Well,
get it out of my
imagine
head.
that in the XR.
I
Yeah,
can't get that bike out of my head.
I couldn't either. It's so good, isn't it?
Oh, and in my head, I was thinking I said it. The video went live today, and I say it in the vid. All it did was reinforce that the Super Duke R is my bike. And then
Yeah.
I watched your 1390 Super Duke R versus the M1000
Yeah,
R,
did you? Yeah,
and I
yeah,
watched it,
yeah.
and I was like, shit. I think the M1000's my bike.
Well, to be honest with you, I know in that video I said I'd take the KTM,
Yeah,
but since both the bikes went back, I've sort of lost the urge to buy a 1390 now. I was sort of all
yeah,
geared up to my bike, and then after that, I've not really thought about it again. But I have
yeah.
thought about the M1000R.
It's just
It's
those
so good,
brakes.
isn't it? Oh, the brakes are the best brakes you've. They're exactly the same on the XR. The MXR's got
Are
they're
they?
exactly the same. The brakes. I don't know how they've done it with a heavier bike, but yeah, the brakes are.
Just
There's no brakes
phenomenal.
like it, is there? But
No,
you never feel a better brake feel than what that bikes has. I don't
yeah,
know how they've done it.
they're like
Yeah.
instant, but not
Yeah.
grabby. And
You can
it's
you forget your
oh,
Brembos and your
oh,
Stylemas, all of that. They're the business, aren't they? Honestly,
yeah.
yeah, that bike is it's special, isn't
my,
it?
my mate Will at I'll give him a plug. Group One in Brighton. They're the dealership I use all the time now, and he put a post. I put a post up on Instagram, I think, of that bike of the
Yeah.
M1000R. After I'd taken it back and just said, TeapotOne had this. I think he's fallen in love. And I commented and just said, I can't stop thinking about this bike. And literally within about 5 seconds, he's emailed me a finance quote going, it's really quite reasonable. And it is. It's cheaper than the GS. I was like, oh no.
You need to try the MXR, Bruce, because that
I'd,
brings that
yeah,
Mness
yeah,
to the XR.
yeah.
That could be the bike for you because it's very, very similar to that
Is it?
M1000R. Well, the only thing I've heard is what amazed me with the single R was how much power it had in the mid range to pick the front
Mm,
wheel up and stuff.
hmm.
I wasn't really expecting that with a straight four engine like that, but it's got a
Yeah,
load of grunt, hasn't it?
yeah, yeah,
But the XR, do you remember when the S1000RR first came out? All in America, they were moaning it was really flat in the middle. It had some
yeah,
US map on it that we didn't
yeah.
have in Europe. Well, apparently the XR's the same, but that weak map is on the Europe bike as well this time, rather than
No,
just in the US bike. So it does feel a bit flat in the middle compared to the S1000R. So it really needs mapping to sort
yeah.
of bring the full performance back in the middle range. But
More money.
yeah, it's so good though. It's so good, Chris.
I,
So
I
good. You need to
genuinely,
try them.
I genuinely felt like I fit on the
Mm,
M1000R. I didn't
yeah.
feel like like a big gorilla playing the cymbals on it. It just felt a really nice bike.
Mm,
I need to lose this feeling because it's going to cost me a
yeah.
lot of money. I need to
And
get
then you
rid of
want the
that.
carbon one, don't you? Because the light one doesn't
Obviously.
look as good. So then
Yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah.
into
You've got
27
to get
grand or whatever it
competition.
is. Yeah.
25 and a half. Yeah,
Is
I've
it?
looked.
I mean, he knows. He knows.
250 a month, though. 250 quid a month.
That's don't shush. Can you be quiet?
Three
I don't want
grand
to. I don't
down
want to hear such
for
things.
your
Yeah,
finance.
that's
Mate,
it's quite incredible,
my
isn't it?
my GS cost me 355, 360 a month for the
Really?
GS. Because
Wow.
okay, I've got to quantify this. My GS is based on 20,000 mile a year, the maximum
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
finance.
That's why.
The M1000R
Yeah.
was based at like 6 miles a year. I think it's like 3,000 or 5,000. So I'm sure if I
I've
bumped that mileage up, it would be
I've heard the insurance is really expensive on the M bikes though, just
yeah, I bet.
because they're M bikes.
Yeah,
So that's the other. I think I've not had a quote on one,
yeah,
but I've heard that
yeah.
insurance is a little bit pricey on them.
What I
I
need
can
to
imagine
do
it is.
What I need to do is just bite the bullet, pay this ridiculous money that insurance companies want for my Jigsaw, get my Jigsaw insured on the road, and then I've got my inline four hooligan thrills with
Yeah,
that.
yeah, you
Do you
will.
know what I
Yeah,
mean?
on the
So that's what I'm
budget.
going to have to do. Yeah, going to
Yeah.
have to do
How
it.
much? Why do they want so much insurance then? What's the problem with
The,
insurance on that?
um,
It's a
all
classic now,
insurance.
surely.
Well, I mean, I said that to him. I said, look, the bike's worth £1,000, maybe. It's
Yeah.
absolutely battered, and it's 100,000 mile on the clock. It's third party that I was wanting it for insured for, but the cheapest was still with my own current insurance company, and they were just going to mirror my no claims, and that was
Right.
450 or 490 odd quid.
What?
The next cheapest was with zero no claims, so starting afresh again, and that was 1,300 quid they wanted.
Jeez, that's
No,
ridiculous,
I'm
isn't
not
it?
paying that. It's ridiculous.
Blimey.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's,
Right, that's question 1, Chops.
That's it. Tell me we've got to do.
Yeah, that's us. Half 8. Right, cheers, Debbie. Thank you very much. She says, and by the way, you and Gregorio got a properly good dynamic going on. The bike versus
Cool.
bike
Thank you
stuff
very
is
much.
fantastic. Yeah, it is, mate.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Appreciate
yeah.
it.
Gutted. It's really good. Prick.
Yeah, I guess he said, "Oh, thanks." Yeah, they are. They're the videos which are performing the best on the channel. It's those ones which do
awesome.
the best. So it sort of shows, I suppose. I guess that's how you tell, isn't it, whether something works or not?
Yeah.
But yeah, well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And we're also sponsored by the Influencer Store. Now, I've got some blurb to read out for them. The Influencer Store helps you build your brand, big or small, providing you with a solution and apparel. We help you to increase your fan base while supporting you with starting your own influencer clothing line with nothing more than just an idea and a design, and there are no hidden costs. For more info, come check us out at theinfluencerstore.co.uk or drop us an email at online@influencerstore.co.uk for more information. Now, all my current merch over at TeapotOne.com, that is all handled by Roger and Charlotte and the family over at the Influencer Store. So thank you for all your support. And lastly, a big shout out to all of you who are either watching a podcast or listening just now on your platform of choice. If you can share with your mates, tell people about the podcast and help spread the word. That really does help. And if you're listening on things like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, if you can follow and leave a review or rating, 5-star is preferable, of course, then that would be absolutely fan-dabby-dozy. All right, folks, let's get back to the podcast. Your channel's flying. You get it's absolutely flying.
No, it's not that. Not really. Yeah, I've
mean, not
done so
really?
many videos, but not growing. It's not growing fast. Though. It's growing very slow. I'm getting the views, but that's because I'm pumping out loads of videos.
Yeah,
but it's just I don't know if it's the time of year a little bit as well. It's sort of the excitement of the biking season, sort of in the middle now, waning a little bit, maybe, isn't it? But it's doing okay, mate. It's doing okay. A bit more growth, a bit faster growth would be nice. But
my channel is it's just stagnant at the moment. It has been for about 4 months now, 5 months. It's just because I've not been able to pump out a vid every week like I was. So there was you get a couple of weeks where there's no vid going out. I don't know. And then I had like five parts to that US series that I did.
Yeah.
Well, first vid does well, second vid not quite, and then it just drops off a cliff.
That's the usual sort of tall type thing, isn't it? That's the trouble.
Yeah, absolutely.
On my that trip I did down to Germany recently, the one you did go to, I didn't say a tour video to Germany because I knew it wouldn't go anywhere. So I did. I was a little bit clickbaity and said, like, which is the best BMW touring bike? Or do you know what I mean? So I did every video a bit clickbaity, but then put like episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. But that seems to have done the job,
That's what you got to do, isn't it?
Yeah, you have, unfortunately.
Yeah, the sort of predicament, if you can call it that, for me now is obviously touring's part of my business. So I'm doing chicken strips now with Simon Weir. So we are away touring.
Yeah.
Once a month, basically, from March, April till October, and then next year it's going to be like every 3 weeks. Effectively, we're away.
Is it really? Wow.
So this year I was kind of like, right, I can't just have tour vid after tour vid after tour vid, because how many vids of Scotland and the Picos and all these other places can you show?
Yeah.
So when we did the Pyrenees, we both took Ducatis with us. So Simon had the Rally, V4 Rally, and I had the Grand Tour. So you sort of turn the tour into effectively an extended
long distance bike comparison or something.
Absolutely. So that's kind of what I think I'm going to be doing from now on, and then doing what I do, but just do it on the tour stuff. So kit reviews and all that. Just do it on the tour, make it work. That's what I'm going to have to do. Get a bit more creative.
Yeah.
Anyway,
is that question 2? Did we answer the question? I can't remember what the question was.
we haven't started question 2. That was question 1 from David. Question 2, Fen Tour, Martin. Gentlemen, both of your channels are our favourites in the Fen Tour clan. It's great that you're back together to chat and have some banter once more. By the way, before my question, what about some more big eats, please? Oh, there's going to be so many people.
So many big
so
hunts.
let's wait till. No, let's wait till there's a specific question about the big eats, because there's going to be shed loads. There's going to be.
There is.
So Martin's actual question. My question for you both. Please give me your top 3 UK roads to ride and why.
Oof.
Cheers, Martin.
Oh, you'll be better at this one than me, Bruce. You're the man who's been literally everywhere.
Oh, wow. Right. I'm trying to remember the road number. It's either the 85 or 87 in Scotland. It's the one that runs to Elandon and Castle.
Okay.
It is a phenomenal stretch of tarmac. Absolutely phenomenal. And if you're not bored, but which you won't be by the time you get to Elandon, keep going to the Kyle of Loch Alsh, cross over the bridge, and you're into Skye. It's just phenomenal.
I've got to do more riding in Scotland. I've only ridden in Scotland once, and that was on that Tiger launch.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely need some more of that. I need to speak to you about. I'm going to Wales next week. We're doing a bike test, and we're going to Wales overnight. So I need to speak to you maybe about some good roads in Wales.
Yeah,
as well.
Don't go. Just don't go.
Don't go. Forget it. There isn't any.
No, they've. I think they've relaxed a little bit on the 20s. They seem to have reverted back to 30s and stuff. But I've had a gut full of whales now. I've struck it off. Yeah, just
really. What? Just because of the old bill
it's cameras, old bill, speed restrictions everywhere. And that's the last time I went. I was just like, nah, I'm not coming back here. There's no enjoyment in this anymore.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
And if you want to avoid that, you go on the backcountry roads, which are great fun. But then, they're narrower. You've got a lot of agricultural traffic, and then they also get full of bikers. So you've got other lunatics coming the other way. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'd rather just go to Scotland or go up north. Northumberland, Lakes, somewhere like that. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, we'll have to see what I can sort out there, won't I? About that one.
I'll give you a few secrets off camera.
Yeah, okay. All right, thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Well, I don't know. I can't really think of anywhere, really, UK-wise, where I've been, which is really good. And if I did remember, I wouldn't certainly remember the road names. What's that run we did on the fish and chips big hunt? That the Minu TT route or something. That was pretty good, wasn't it?
Was that the 8th?
Do you remember on the way? I can't remember what it's called.
The Mini TT?
It's called the Mini TT or something like that. It was that.
Up for the fish and chips.
Yeah, the fish and chips.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Oh God, thingy. What is it called again? It's up towards Grimsby, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah, that was a pretty good stretch of tarmac, wasn't it?
That was good. That was the one that went up and down and over the moors.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That was phenomenal. I've forgotten the name of that, but that would be.
I know it's the Mini TT. What area was it? It was sort of like.
It's south of Grimsby, basically. Anyone that's from that neck of the woods will know that road. It's the main run to Grimsby.
They'll be shouting at the screen.
They will.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
That one for me.
I also like the A39. I've got good fond memories of the A39, which is down in the southwest. It'll basically run from more or less Newquay all the way across the north of that southwest coast. Phenomenal stretch of road. Purely because I rode it with my mate Jimbo way back in the day on an R1 and a Jigsaw Thow, and it was properly naughty. It was ridiculous speeds.
Really?
But there was just nothing. At the time that we did it, there was no traffic, there were no speed cameras, there was nothing.
It was a different age back then, wasn't it? It was so different
15 years ago.
Because I was the same. When I look back at the way I used to ride, when me and Greg used to go out on a Sunday morning, I'd get back and touch and think oh, thank goodness, made it back.
Yeah,
it was that bad. You
sit there trying to drink your cup of tea and you're shaking.
Yeah. And you just, to do that this day and age would just completely out of the question. Well, you can't. It's not acceptable. You can't. Yeah. But it was a bit different back then because there was nowhere near as much traffic and all the rest of it.
Yeah. And I think maybe I don't know about you, but I certainly feel a bit more pressure in that when the cameras are running. Well, I've already had it. Somebody grassed me up. So I'm aware that anything I put out there can be used against you, can't it? And then also, I'm also aware that I kind of have to fly the flag a little bit for semi-responsible riding. I want to have fun out of my bike, as everybody else does. But I also... I want to stay alive, and sadly, I've lost a couple of mates now to it. No, and you're like, right, okay, so we kind of need to ring it in a little bit here. You got to fly the flag a bit, haven't you?
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I'm probably naughty the most on my channel. Hang on a minute. I think my microphone's popped out a second.
I can hear you. No problem.
Can you hear me all right? Yeah. All echoey for some reason. So I feel that I push what you can really show without getting into some trouble. And some videos I think I could get in trouble for that one.
Yeah,
but I've been been okay so far, touch wood.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why I always take two cameras out, because you're cutting between
Yeah.
cameras and you can't, if the speedo goes a bit too high, I cut to the camera looking back.
You have to be creative, don't you?
Yeah, you have to be creative. You can't show the speedo doing 3 digits. Not that they do 3 digits anyway, of course, but if you were to do that, you wouldn't obviously
didn't know they
show
went
it,
that high.
Mine doesn't. 999. 99 mine goes on to.
999.
Probably more like it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, no, I'm not going to cover that. I'm not going to cover that on camera.
Not going to mention it.
No, we'll not. Anyway, Fento, Martin, thanks for your question, pal.
Yeah, thanks,
did I give you 3? I think I've given you 3. Have you given 3?
But what roads?
Yeah.
The other road, I just thought a local one. My favourite local road is a road just on the way from sort of Petersfield to Winchester, but not the main road everyone knows. I can't remember 272. Not the 272. Yeah. It's south of 272. We call it the Morstead Run, and it's like more of a country lane, but it's up and down, twists, and it's fantastic. So that's my favourite local road. Goes on for about 6 miles, 6 miles of hoonage. Yeah, and that's really good.
Yeah, 272, that used to be such a fantastic road.
That's speed cameras and noise cameras now.
And noise cameras
and speed cameras.
Dirty buggers.
I know. It's just a write-off now. It's just a write-off, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, next one, Louise Worsfold. How you doing, Lou? Evening, gents. I can see all the questions when the next collaboration is going to be have already been asked, so I'll ask this. What is the best technological invention in the past 10 years, and what would you do to make it better?
Gosh, best technological invention. Well, for us, it's got to be the action camera, isn't it? It's really got to be the action camera. Yeah. Because that's sort of transformed our lives, really, from that, isn't it? So, action camera. To make it better, well, the latest ones are so good, aren't they? I guess just reliability, really, more than anything else, isn't it? Be more reliable. And I know they are these days, but...
Well, GoPro isn't.
Just about everybody. I'm back on the Hero 12 now. No problems with it at all. I've never had any trouble with my GoPros. Yeah, I've once had a problem. It failed completely, and the screen went black. It just, it was dead. It was dead. Lucky the day before the warranty ran out, the 12 months. So I got onto it. They sent me another one. That's the only time I've had.
You blagged something. There's no way you managed to blag something. No way.
I bought it. I've never had any freebies from GoPro. That's the only one I haven't never had any freebies from. So if you're watching GoPro,
if you don't know, Chopsy is the blagging king. He is the utter king of the blag. Wow.
I've got to go after you and Andy slagging me off the other week about my blagging. I thought I've got to go on there, put this straight.
How are your DJI cameras? How is your rucker suit and all the rucker kit?
my custom.
How was your new garage?
Yeah. No, the garage was funded by me. The garage, most of it. Some of it wasn't. Most of it was. But, no, it's they see the value in it, Bruce. You see, these companies, they see the value.
Genuinely.
Yeah. So anyway, but I have been quite lucky, haven't I? But Andy's more jamming than me, so don't let him. He's the king of jam, I reckon. It's got to be Andy. See how many crash helmets he's got? He hasn't bought all of those, I tell you.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. I've gone to the Instas. You can see that.
I saw you had on. It sounded good actually. I tried it out. The One RS, I think, was the last sort of modular one I had on the Insta, and you tried the external audio, and it was awful. It was like just really echoey, no depth to it at all. But they've obviously, I saw your videos. Yeah, it sounds all right, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's good. My only criticism actually that's the Ace Pro I'm using there. Yeah. I used the Ace Pro, and I've actually bought the X3, so I've just been using that.
Yeah.
Of late, but as you know, it's like a cockpit camera to look back, just because it looks better.
That's what I use them for. Yeah. Especially if you've got a bit of timber, make sure it's slim, isn't it?
That's it. You've got to go right out on the field of view on that one. Tiny Planet, just to get me on the bike. Yeah. The only issue I've got with the Ace Pro is the audio plugged in via a lav mic. It's not as good as the GoPro in that it doesn't. The sort of noise cancelling on it, or a noise isolation, a voice isolation, it's almost too good because it blocks more of the engine noise.
That's what I find the DJI's like that as well. Yeah, because it's quite poppy. You've got to turn the gain right down, and then you lose all of the bike noise. This is why for me the GoPro is still the best audio just out the box.
Yeah, just and the vertical field of view on the Insta isn't as
Yeah.
deep as the
Yeah.
GoPro as well. However, I've been chatting with Insta. I seem to have quite a good rapport with them. I've
Okay.
had no contact with GoPro at all, but Insta,
No,
I've been
I've never
really
had.
good.
Never
Have
had.
you not? Well,
No, no, no.
there's developments coming in that, so hopefully that might sort that
Okay.
issue out. We'll
They
see.
contacted me last week, actually, Insta360,
Uh-huh.
because I've not worked with them for ages. It's come to a point where I kept dropping so many. They've always sent me a camera, and I've always done a little review of it. So I've had all of them. And but last year I went for a period of just falling off a bike all the time, and I got through about three, smashed them to pieces in the space of like 3 weeks.
Oh no.
So yeah, so my fellow at Insta, I sent a couple of emails, but it doesn't even reply to me anymore. So I
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
gave up on that. And when the X4 came out, the 8K X4, I thought, I've got to have it. I've got to have it. So I bought one, and all the lens guards, because I want to keep looking after this one. This one isn't going on the side of the bike to die. And last week I had an email from a new person who's taken over at Insta saying, we've got the new X4s just come out, and we've got
Yeah.
the Ace Pro. Do you want to do a video? But I just thought, do I want to do a video? Not really. And I've
Yeah.
just bought the X4 anyway. So I was like, well, what I might do, because DJI, I haven't done the video for DJI either, because they sent me a load of kit, didn't they?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they said, actually, by the way, you've missed the deadline now anyway. So I probably won't be getting anything else from DJI.
Yeah, that'll be that then.
But that'll be that. But I might, if I can get an Ace Pro, I might do a comparison of all of them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So the Ace Pro, the DJI, and the GoPro.
You utter
So
dick.
just
That's
see
exactly what I'm doing.
That was it.
It's gonna be a race.
Well,
I'll get mine out next year when the next cameras come out.
I won't be a quick one for me. I'll be later on. But I've been really testing the DJI, the Osmo Action 4. Is it the 4? It's the 4, isn't it?
4, yeah.
And
I don't like it.
What I found really good is using the wireless mic inside your helmet.
Yes.
So if you're on a track day, you can have helmet audio and have the camera mounted on the bike, looking back at it or forward, whatever, and you've got audio. And if it's tipping down with rain as well, when you need a fully waterproof thing, just drop that in your helmet, and you're good to go, basically. So I've been really impressed with that. That's a really great feature, and I love all the form factor thing about it, all the stuff. But when you plug the lav mic in, the audio goes really quiet, and you lose the engine noise of the bike. So that's my biggest.
And there's a big delay if you have a lav mic plugged in.
15 to 30 seconds until it connects,
ridiculous.
isn't it? And you're like, is that connecting? So you can't start talking because you're going,
you have to sit and wait.
You don't know, do you? You just have to wait just to be sure you're going to get what you're saying. So that is, but no one mentions that, do they? No one mentions that.
No, really annoys me. I spent my own money on that blooming Action 4.
Yeah.
First ride I went out for, when I was reviewing the footage, I was like, oh shit, the audio's not working. But then eventually the lav mic kicks in, and you're just like, what's going on?
That might be that firmware fix, maybe.
Hopefully. But then the audio adapter as well, when you plug a lav in, I bought 3. I've got them here.
Yeah. I heard you talking about that with Andy. I've not had any trouble
wiggle
with that.
about. All 3 wiggle about.
Mine's been fine when I plug that in, and I don't get any of that. So I don't get that problem. But
and then I didn't like the little LED on the DJI. It's too small for me to see in the, when you look in the wing mirror. Yeah. It's hard. You have to really have a good look, especially on a bright sunny day.
I thought mine had stopped recording for that very reason on a bright day. I thought, it's packed in now. When you press the button again, then it stops. That was recorded. Yeah, I've had it. I know they're valid points, and I do completely agree with the little light and the mic connecting. Yeah.
But I don't need to do a vid, folks. You know exactly.
There you go. There you go. We've exploded it, haven't we? Pair of us out of a video now.
Louise has got another question. She says, lastly, when is Mavis going to get her own channel?
Yeah, Mavis. She's boxed away at the moment.
I've not heard Mavis in ages. Annoying.
No, I sort of stopped doing it a bit. I thought, is this a bit silly? Is this a bit silly?
It's brilliant.
No, I wasn't sure. And a lot of I've been watching a lot of other sort of garage restoration type channels, and they're all a bit more serious, the popular ones. And I've they've really got anywhere with my sort of garage things, trying to make them funny and that. So I thought maybe I'd try it a bit more serious. And look, some people just see it and they think they don't get it at all. Do you know what I mean? And why would they? It's a little bit weird, isn't it? So you may come back.
It's funny. It's funny.
Yeah. And it adds a lot of editing time as well. That's another reason, but yeah.
But you, Chopsy, being you has got you where you are, mate. Don't change.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. Thanks, mate. Well, all of us really, isn't it? I think that's a very important part of it, isn't it? To be yourself,
Yeah. You attract your own tribe, as the cool kids call it.
The tribe, your own tribe.
Right, next one. Owen Harries. How you doing, Owen? Hey, both. Love your content, and I'm an avid viewer. So my question is, having just got a third of through about, I think that's a third of the way it should be, through a big little ride, Bruce persuaded me, what is the best little bike you have encountered? Can I just say, a Kimco 125 scooter with an Aldi helmet is by far the worst choice a person can make, but the Ronda is beautiful and worth the time and pain. Okay, so little CC bikes, what would you go for?
Ooh. I've only, I've lowest I've gone recently is a 125, so I've not gone any smaller than a 125.
Yeah.
That was what was that? A Sinus actually, on a Sinus sort of
Yeah.
supermoto type bike. It was, it's good. You absolutely hammer it, don't you? They are really good fun because you're literally it's like you're the TT, isn't it?
Yeah.
You go down your back road and you're literally pinned
Yeah,
pinned
wide
the whole
open.
way down. Wide open, yeah, wide open the whole time, right down like this as well. So they're brilliant fun.
38 miles an hour.
Well, that little big venture thing you did with Richie and Mr. Fish, that must have been such fun. That must have been such fun.
It's definitely up there as the most fun I've had on a bike. It was just hilarious. For 3 days, we just didn't stop laughing. Great fun. Great fun.
Well, because I did a little bit of work with PB a little while ago. Do you remember? I was just doing some, because they wanted someone to do some videos with the mag sort of thing. And they did a trip down to Valencia on 125s. 3 of them. Unfortunately, I couldn't do the trip, but it would have made a brilliant video. Just like all on 125s, all the way down to Valencia for like the last round of MotoGP, I think it was. That's what they were going down for, and then riding it back again. It's all the way down to Italy, and they all made it. You know, they all made it. And some of these bikes they had the KTM, the KTM RC 125, which was brand new, not even running.
Why do press officers do that?
I know. I think they had the Yamaha R7 and something else. I can't remember. I think it's a GSX-R 125. So it's like the sports bikes. And they went road to Valencia on them. They all made it, apart from the KTM was like using so much oil by the time they got there. But it wasn't even running. It's understandable. You can't.
Yeah.
And they said they were just the whole way to Italy.
Love it. On
the stop. But that'd be great. Me, you, and Andy to Italy on 125s. That would be a series of videos, wouldn't it?
Let's do it.
Andy's got a dodgy shoulder, isn't he? But he can't manage it, can he?
And you can't do more than like 3 days away.
3 days. So I could do 3 days.
You think we can do Italy and back on 125s?
3 days.
We could do it on normal bikes in 3 days. That'd be
That's the challenge, though, isn't it? That's the challenge. Do Italy and back on 125s in 3 days.
How far is Italy? Like, where are we going to go?
We drove down there last.
Hang on.
700 miles? 700 miles?
Is that it? It's got to be more than that.
You would think.
Hang on.
Depends how far down you're going, doesn't it? Depends how far down you're going.
So where we go? Naples? Is that the home of pizza?
As high as possible, yeah.
Naples, Italy. Okay, that's right down the bottom of Italy.
Oh, well, not Naples then.
Rome.
Milan. Milan's at the top, isn't it? Oh, there's the bike show. The Milan bike. That's the Intermot. That's at Milan, and I think that's northern Italy,
Milan, Italy. It is northern Italy.
We could ride down to the Eichmann show in 3 days and back.
Let's go. True starting point. Home. Okay, from my house. Come on.
You're basically on the ferry, though, aren't you, where you live?
Oh my God, you were right.
How much was it?
770 miles motorway.
Yeah. There you go. Doable.
I thought it was like 1,500 miles.
That's a wee pop into get the paper for you, that is, isn't it?
Oh my God, that's like not even a full day. It's like not even 24 hours.
So it's achievable.
Let's go, bloody. Let's go, Milan.
3 days. Those are back in 3 days. Go do it, I reckon.
What, you up for it?
Well, maybe.
Don't start rolling for sure now, Chops.
No, I would be up for it. Yeah, if we could do it in 3 days, I'd be up for it.
Big Eat.
Andy's got to be watching. Andy's got to be watching, isn't he?
Come on,
Richie as well. All 4 of us, of course. All 4 of us. Yeah, 4 of us.
Let's make a challenge out of it.
Yeah, and then we could do at least one video on one of the channels, rather than releasing everything on every channel, so we did last time, which was silly.
Yeah.
Just one video on one. The next part 2's on someone else's channel, part 3's on someone else's channel.
Yeah. Right. Let's do it.
Something there, Bruce, don't you?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I think we've just given birth to the next challenge or Big Eat.
And he's got his bad shoulder though.
Yeah, but you can still fly, isn't he?
We could strap him up.
He's not doing that when he flies, is he? He's just joystick.
Oh, you want about Andy going to the plane? You want about Andy on the plane, not on the bike?
Yeah.
Oh, you want about racing the plane? Oh, I thought you meant.
Oh, he's not going to take 8 hours to get bloody Italy, is he, by plane? Or is he? You'd have to refuel.
Can't fly the channel though, can he? Can he fly the channel with his license?
Oh yeah, I think so.
He can't fly when it's dark, and he can't fly when it's cloudy. I don't think. Can he?
I haven't got a clue. Right, it's me and you going then. And Dickie. Let's get Dickie.
Get Dickie. And you have to ride, wouldn't he? It'd be a race. We have to. It's getting silly there. It's getting silly
He's
there.
on
But
a Goldwing.
I think there's a good idea there. I think there's a good idea there for sure.
I'm up for it.
Yeah, it's a really good idea.
And I'm quite tempted. If this all falls through and you don't do it, I'm just going to go anyway. Just get a picture of me with like an Italian coffee in Milan.
What do you want too far? Smoking.
On my M1000R.
Oh, I'm up for that. Yeah, that's too easy on that, though.
Yeah. Right, cheers, Owen. Thanks for that, pal. Chris
Really
Abbott, Chopsy. After a particularly amorous evening, do you ever get jizz in your beard? Oh my God! What?
I thought you had a better class of patron, Bruce.
He said, "Sorry,
really
Bruce,
did.
but we did promise we would ask." Wow, I'm sorry about that, Chops.
Oh,
Shush. But yeah, do you get man muck in that beard? It's particularly well
coiffed. Long enough. I've grown it a bit longer. It used to be a lot shorter than this, so it has grown in length. The missus prefers she'd like me to have a beard like yours.
She likes a big bush.
This is a compromise. She likes a big bush. I prefer it but this is quite long for me. But she prefers it. So, but no, I haven't. Is the answer to the question.
It is spectacularly well manicured.
I did do it because I was going to MotoGP today. Ducati invited me. Wow. You should have seen it yesterday. I looked a right mess. So I did trim it yesterday and had a shave yesterday.
Wow. But, what was it? What was it like? What was the GP like?
Yeah, it was good. I met Oliver Phelps. He plays George Weasley in Harry Potter. So I chatted to him over lunch about motorbikes and stuff, and had to get a sneaky selfie. I said, George, do you mind if I do? I said, my son's a real big fan. Do you mind if we just have a quick selfie?
He's probably about 30 now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Well, he's just started riding bikes because he had to learn to ride for a movie. So he's got well into it, and he's borrowed a Desert X, and he was there with his buddy, and so he was enjoying it. So
awesome. What's Friday? Is that Day of Champions?
No, it was just the practice day. It was just the practice day.
So was it yesterday? It was Day of Champions.
Yeah, yesterday. Yeah, it's on Thursday. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. R1 Liz was there, wasn't she? I think she was there yesterday.
She was. Yeah, that's it.
Right. Thanks for that, Chris. Cheers. It's sort of taking me aback a bit. Oh no. Next one. Sam Vincent. Oh dear. Evening. Hope you're both smashed by the time you get to these questions. Yes, sorry, there's more than one. Chopsy, after some time has passed now, what is the absolute best money spent on your garage build? Places to spend more and places you could easily cut cost. I'm planning my own one, so thoughts would be appreciated. Okay then, garage build.
Yeah, good question. I've been incredibly happy with how well it's come out. And there's only a few things I'd wish I'd done. So I put unfortunately, when I started it, I thought I was going to have benches here, workbench there, and I designed all the height of the sockets accordingly. Mm-hmm. But as it turned out, I didn't put the things where I thought they were. So I've got sockets up the wall for no apparent reason. And the side which I thought was going to have all cupboards along, so I didn't put any sockets in, is actually the free wall where I really could have done with some power sockets. Yeah. And all the power sockets are hidden behind the units. Yeah. So that was a bit of a
So why is that you changed then?
I can't remember now, Bruce. I think it's because the cupboards I bought. So I got a load of furniture, like office clearance stuff. So like big white filing cabinets, but shelves in. Yeah. And I think I wasn't planning to get those originally, so I had those, and only fit because they're a metre wide. They only fit in a certain way. So it's just how the best layout was for it to be like that. So so that's the only thing. And the other thing I wish I'd done is put some sort of mains water in there. So I had like a hose or a pressure washer type setup. Yeah. But I knew before I started, that was like, no, it's too much trouble. So I know why I didn't do that. And the other thing I thought I'd do would have been quite nice is to have sort of, it's just something else I did think about, but I thought, no, it's too much trouble, is to have airlines sort of all behind the wall. So just plug your airline into the socket and then you'd do a bit over. That would have been quite nice. But
proper factory.
Apart from, really going the extra level things, I've been incredibly happy with it. Apart from the socket heights, that's it.
Are you still happy with, you went for the vented tiles, didn't you?
Brilliant. They're brilliant. Yeah. They look like the day they went in. Yeah, that honestly, awesome. They've even for side stands and stuff that they don't damage. And because I did ask them about that when I got them, and they said don't get the flat ones because the flat ones do mark. He said you want the vented are tougher; they don't mark with side stands and stuff. Okay. You can lose little washers through them, So you've got to be careful of little washers. But most things will get trapped and won't go through.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm still
pretty happy.
contemplating doing that in mine actually, but my garage is just so ridiculously full of guff at the moment. It's just
Get it
rammed
cleared
full of
out.
stuff.
Get it cleared
Well,
out.
we're actually after 8 years, we're finally getting around to decorating the house. But typical, it's happening all at once at the moment.
Nice.
It's basic. I mean, long story short, I've got an early inheritance off my dad, so we're like, right, let's get the house done. And then the dog managed to push through both hedges in the back garden on either side because they used to have like the chicken wire in them, but the
Right.
chicken
Yeah.
wire is like 40, 50 years old. So the dog just figured out, oh, I can push right through this, and
Yeah.
she just disappears. So it's right, we
No.
need to put new fencing in, and then
Oh,
that
that's
new
not cheap,
fencing
is it?
is, well, no, the fence is turned into a new garden. So it's like
Oh God.
everything's happening in the once. Bang goes the
And
inheritance, but
and
the
what
house
about
will
the
look
M1000R though? You got to get the M1000R in that, fit that in as well, haven't
as
you? That's got to be in there,
that's
isn't it?
that M1000R is now going to be some cabin office stroke gym thing at the bottom of the
Oh,
garden.
is it?
That's
You
what that is.
doing a full Monty in the garden? Are
Yeah,
you having
yeah,
all
yeah,
that?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She says it's going to be a gym. I think it's going to be a bar and maybe like a podcast studio
A
type
gym
thing.
for
That's what
six
it'll be.
months. Gym for
Yeah,
6 months, and then yeah, and then
6 weeks maybe.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second question from Sam. Question two. Question again for Chops. How many grinder matches did you get from that AI generated pick? I hope they
It was
all
a
made
good
you
pick.
shout my ass.
I asked. It was a good pick. That yeah. That's a WhatsApp profile pic,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
You nicked that off of. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah, it's
remember when
good.
the AI thing first came out. I think it was Dickie, wasn't it? Dickie did
Yeah.
one first, and then you and Andy both
Yeah, that's
started
right.
doing them.
And,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was addicted to it. I was fascinated by it. I did so many of them. I was like, this
I
is
didn't dare
amazing.
do it. I
Did you not?
didn't
Did you
dare
not
do
do one?
it. No.
Oh God, I should have done one for you then, shouldn't we? Because I had loads of pictures of Andy, of course, because that WhatsApp group, he's constantly sending pictures of himself, isn't it? So I had loads of Andy off. I'm going to do one of Andy as well. But
Yeah, they
yeah,
look
it's
good.
incredible that AI, that
See,
Chat GPT as well. Have you actually used Chat GPT for stuff? I was only started recently. Mrs. is like, I've written you for our wedding anniversary. I had this really nicely written thing she'd written. I was quite moved by it. I was
Mhm.
like, oh, that's really nice. And she's like, yeah, Chat GPT wrote
Yeah,
that.
Shadow beated
I was
it.
like, you spoiled it now.
Yeah,
But
I'm
yeah, it's
using it a
amazing.
lot now. Actually, I was using it a lot this year for vids, for titles and vid
Really?
descriptions and getting tags. But obviously, the
Oh, I hadn't
channel has
thought of that.
absolutely tanked, and I didn't actually think about it till now. And that, hang on, that's since I started trying to use ChatGPT.
Oh, you reckon
So
maybe it's been
I
picked
don't know.
out or
I
something?
don't know. I don't know. I was just using
Mm.
it for like titles and
Yeah, what would you type in to get your title then? What sort of things are you putting in? Like
you
GS, break them
now.
down again.
Yeah, now you can literally say, give me a punchy title for a YouTube vid about the BMW M1000R. I want it to be a review. I want it to appeal to a new audience and also my established audience for the TeapotOne YouTube channel.
Wow,
And
so you
it'll
go into
go
that
away.
much detail.
Yeah. The more detail you give
The better it
ChatGPT
is.
now, the better. It used to be a bit pissing in the wind, but now it's, if you can really narrow it down with the detail, it can do
Yeah,
some. Like you can
yeah,
ask it to do like an analytics or a health check of your channel. Just go on
yeah.
ChatGTP 5 or whatever it is now, 4 or 5, and just say that. Can
Well,
you can you?
I wouldn't do such a thing. But the missus said, asked it, who's lamb chops rides? And it come back with a load of stuff, affectionately known as chops. I'm like, how does it know all
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
It's absolutely amazing.
The only
Absolutely
thing with
amazing.
ChatGTP though is it's a bit like the bloke down the pub. If it doesn't know, it just
Yes,
makes stuff up.
makes shit up.
Yeah, but it looks really convincing. That's the thing.
Well, I did notice. I asked it. I thought, hang on a minute. Let's ask it to write a comparison between like the '98 R1 and the latest R1,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it comes back in seconds, doesn't it? It's like
yeah.
this can't be it already. It's like pages of it, but some of
Mhm.
the things weren't right. Like you say,
Yeah.
it's a couple of the details. You'd have to double check and
Oh,
change a
aye.
few things.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
the odd little
Definitely.
thing, but overall, it's like wow, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
Absolutely
yeah. It's really
amazing.
good. Really good.
Yeah.
And
It's
and,
going to be doing
and
like live. It does translations really well as well. Apparently, if you type, it'll
yeah,
do a translate brilliantly. And someone said that what won't be long until it's like live translating as you're talking to somebody. Just go, hello. It's like having a conversation with someone in different languages, and it's just instantly
yeah.
Translate.
There's a chap that comes away on some of my tours now, Marius, and he works with AI, and he's obviously right behind it. He thinks it's fantastic, and I'm a bit skeptical. I'm like, I'm a bit older. I've seen Terminator. I know what Skynet is. It's coming, and he's just like, no,
Yeah.
AI. He says AI it's dumb. It's only as clever as the information you put in, and I'm like, yeah, now,
No, it is.
but
Another 5 years.
in the background. In the background, it's like doing open university, isn't it? It's getting itself nice and clever, and it's going to come back. It's going to take over.
Yeah, it is. I think that's a genuine concern, isn't it? It's not just science fiction. I think that is
we'll see.
Potentially.
We'll see. Sam's got another
slaves
one.
to robots.
Well, we kind of are all. We're going to get.
Wow, yeah, go on. This
we kind of are already, aren't
we? Yeah, that's true.
Sam says, Brucey boy, the 1390 Super Duke was fucking sublime in the Scottish Twisties. So do what you will with that info. Does that mean you're going to buy one, Sam? Or is it?
It's great. It's great. You've ridden one, Bruce. You've ridden the new one.
No, I'm going to have to try and acquire one for a while. But I definitely did think it was almost a certainty that would end up in my garage at some point until I watched your video on that and the M1000R.
Oh, really? And that was, it's tough, isn't it? I don't think, I'm still a bit undecided what I choose because there's such a tough decision between those two bikes. The 13, I went on, I was lucky enough to go on the launch of that, and it was a track launch, and it was like, oh, this bike is so good. And I'd get the R as well, I wouldn't get the Evo. I'd get the R.
Would you not?
No, I don't. The R was much better on track. It was much better on track, the R. I think the suspension's so good on the R. I don't really see it, but I know it's got like that. You could have adjustable preload, move the rear up and down. But when you're going to ever use that, you're never going to use that, are you? It's just a bit of a bad, isn't it? So and everything else, it's nice the Eva, but I think I just get the R. I think I'll save a few quid and get the R. But I think the problem is it's so expensive. I think the bike is overpriced, and I think it's a lot of money for what you're getting.
How much is it then for like a similarly spec'd?
I think the Evo's 19.5 or something. Evo's 19.5. It's the quality of it and the plastics, and I just don't think it's a 20 grand bike. That's sort of my thoughts on it, really. Obviously, it's amazing to ride and all the rest of it, but it's just, and then of course you've got to put the packs on. So that's the base price. Then you've got to put another 800 quid on for the tech pack. Yeah. So it's probably over 20 grand with the tech. You could probably get that thrown in with a deal, but on list is over 20 grand, I think, with the tech pack for the Evo. And I think it's 17.8 or something for the R version. So it's about 1,500 quid cheaper, I think, the R.
Oh, wow. So there's a massive difference between that and the NR M1000R competition then.
Yeah.
That's 25.
And you think the M competition, well, if you don't get the competition, I think that's 19.8 or something.
Why would you not get the competition?
But it comes with the forged wheels. So it's got forged wheels on it.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of the other bits and bobs. I think that's much better value than the KTM. That's the thing. But then you do, like you say, you need to put the other 5 grand in there. You really need the competition one. But you could get the standard one, then do the bits and bobs yourself, though. Put the carbon bits on it, and So
I love that black. I love that.
I do love that black.
Competition black. Oh
yeah, I agree. It does look amazing.
I think I've got a new crush. I think I do. Oh dear. Yeah.
You need to do a back-to-back comparison like we did and see. But I don't think it will help because you're both. Yeah. It's just you think they're both brilliant. I still can't decide. You need both. Is the answer.
Yeah, I'm kind of I feel a bit lost on YouTube at the moment, mate. Because like I hate doing what everyone else does, and like your comparison vids and your bike review vids. I'm blowing smoke up your arse, but I definitely mean it. I think you nail it with your bike review stuff. You kind of ride bikes the way I like to ride or hope I can ride. And I think we have a similar sort of mindset and thought process towards things. So when you do a review, I find myself going, that's what I want from a bike, or that's what I'd be looking at. Yeah. So like for me, it's like, well, what's the point of me taking doing a bike review of that when you've got it?
Yeah, but I think you're oversimplifying it, aren't you? You're oversimplifying it because people who follow you want to know what you think to a particular bike as well. That they're thinking, I wonder what Bruce would think to this. Would he like this? So I think it's our channels. They're not like your your bike, well, say bike world's a little bit like that because Chris is a massive personality, but it's the channels. I think you said it with Andy last week. The channels are about us and
Yeah.
what we think,
Yeah.
more personality driven, isn't it? So I think
Mm.
if you're doing a bike review, as long as you put your spin on it, like you do, then it's entertaining to watch.
Mm.
It's not necessarily a review. I don't watch bike reviews because I'm interested in that bike per se. I want to see what someone thinks to that bike.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think you could. Well, I think you just to say, well, he's already done a bike review like that, and there's no point me. People want to know what you think to that bike.
Mm.
Do you see what I
Okay.
mean? And
Yeah. Yeah. No, I see it.
and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
always have your own spin on it as well. So yeah, I mean, I like watching. I haven't watched. I only went up today, and I was at MotoGP. I haven't watched your. I can't wait to watch your M review because I'm dying to see what you thought to it on that video.
I've already seen a couple of comments, and there was, comments and sometimes irk you, can't they? And someone
Yeah.
was like, "Oh mate, what? How can you review that bike? You're sat in third or fourth gear. You need to get the revs right up." But I even say in the vid, it's like, you can't. Obviously, you're going to enjoy that bike, but you can't put that on camera on a vid, can you?
Yeah.
You can't show you
No.
lifting it. Well, to an extent, you know what I mean? Like you can't be doing triple digits with
No.
revs up at 10, 11, 12, 13,000.
That's
You can't
I
put that
I
up there.
I, re- I recorded a review of the new Fireblade last week.
Mm.
214 horsepower, super bike. And it's like, well, how am I
Yeah,
gonna review this as a
yeah.
road ride? And it
Toddling
was
along
just
at
like,
60 mile an hour.
yeah, exactly. So I did it, fast as you like up to 60. And
Yeah.
then it's like, but yeah, it's so difficult. And it's that sort of bike on the road though. It's just why, so I mean, I
It's
love, I
fun.
love
It's
power and
so
that, but
much fun.
I agree. The M1000R is a lot of fun but the Fireblade is just it's quite flat at the bottom, so it's like nothing, nothing,
Ah,
nothing.
yeah,
You
yeah,
do an
yeah.
100 mile an hour, so
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
whereas that's not much fun, is it? That's
Yeah, no, I get you. Yeah.
frustration more than fun. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
but
That's
yeah,
like an old inline four, isn't it? That's what like the
yeah,
old bikes used to
it
be.
is very much so. And we've got a comparison coming between the Fireblade and the R1 because the R1's disappearing.
Uh-huh.
So you can't be able to buy it. I don't know if that's just Europe or that's UK, but this is the last year you can buy it in the UK for the road. It's like I've got to ride one again, and because in my mind the R1 was a very focused, uncomfortable bike, not for the road, And I
Mhm.
rode one a few years ago, a second-hand one, and it was a 2016 model, and it was like, oh, this is so risky. Oh, it's too much, and that was in my
Yeah,
mind. That's what the R1 was. So I went and picked it up, and my God, it's comfortable. It's like
yeah,
my
and big.
old K8 GSX-R, and I was like,
Yeah,
this is really nice. And the
yeah,
Fireblade is completely opposite. It's horrible, really
yeah,
uncomfortable. But
yeah,
yeah, the Blade is absolutely incredible bike. It's like, why have I only just discovered now how good this bike is?
yeah.
I was really impressed with it. Really impressed.
It's such a shame that we're seeing the death of like the old school 1000 cc's. Some of the
Yeah.
600s are coming back though.
Yeah, I think it cycles these things, isn't it? I think it
Mm.
cycles, and we're seeing those 600s comes back. And also, I was having a chat with the guys at Suzuki the other day because I had some Peter grips fitted to my GX,
Mm.
and we are saying like, why don't they bring back the 750? Why don't they
Mm.
do what Honda's done with the 600? If they brought
Yeah.
back the GSXR 750, even
Mhm.
if they had to tone it down a little bit to get it through emissions, just stifle it a little bit, they'd sell bucket loads of them. Just a
Mm.
little, and it's not like they'd have to retool because they still make that bike and sell it in America and stuff like that. So, they've still got the tooling. It's just a
Yeah.
case of just get it through Euro 5 and put it for sale again.
Yeah.
They'd sell bucket loads, wouldn't they?
Are they not going to do
And
that then?
well, I don't know, they're not. But I think next time I'm on a launch with Suzuki, I'm going to go and find a little Japanese fellas and just start shaking them and say, "What are you doing? Why aren't you bringing back the GSX-R
I'll have a word, mate. I get on well with them. Yeah. Yeah, it's a
That's
shame,
before.
isn't it? It's such a
Yeah, it
such an
is.
iconic,
And
such an iconic bike.
and the latest GSX-R 1000 had that VVT engine with a variable valve timing,
Mm.
really peach of a motor. They
Yeah.
bring out the GX and they've put the 2005 engine in it. It's like, well, what are you doing? Just get that one for Euro
Yeah.
5. That can't be that difficult to
No.
stifle that engine a bit and get it for Euro 5 and put it in the GX. So shake those Japanese people until,
Yeah.
they do what they need.
Start a movement, shops. Start a
I know.
movement.
I know. I think it's the Suzuki UK guy was like, it's just like the culture. They've got no sort of
Yeah.
marketing department really. It's the whole company sort of run by technicians, not
Yeah.
no. So yes, that was his view. But
Mm.
yeah, those
Watch
bikes would
this space.
sell hotcakes.
Right, next one. David McCracken. A jolly good evening to both of you fine gentlemen. Hope you're both fit and well. Well,
Oh,
50.
yeah, don't talk me
I have
into
two questions, if you'd appease me. Imagine this scenario. You're weeks ahead of video editing. Never going to happen.
No,
All the
no, that's
housework
not
is
me.
done. Wifey is out,
No.
and you unexpectedly have the whole evening to yourself. What are you
Where's this
doing
going,
to
Bruce? This
relax?
isn't tied up with the other question, is
Yeah.
it?
Keep it clean. There might be ladies listening. There's obviously ladies listening. There's always ladies listening. What are you going to do with yourself then to relax of an evening?
Oh, it's probably YouTube, to be honest. It's probably get on YouTube, to be honest, and catch up on what I haven't seen. That's probably what my answer would be. Yeah, because the normal telly, all the box sets, that's all watched with the family. So sort of
Yeah.
my own time is sort of YouTube stuff, really.
Are you
Yeah,
a
or
Yellowstone fan?
Yellowstone. No,
Kevin
I don't
Costner.
believe so.
You've not.
No, I haven't seen it. No, Yellowstone.
Oh
Was this a new Netflix one or something? A
no,
series?
no! It's been going for about 10
Has it
years
ages?
or 5 years.
No, I've not seen it.
They've done 5 seasons so far, and then the next one starts in, I think it's October or November.
Yellowstone. What's it
Love
about
it.
roughly? Give us a very quick synopsis.
Kevin Costner is the father, the head of this family who own the Yellowstone Ranch in, I think it's Montana. It's a massive, massive ranch on the best land. He's got hundreds and hundreds of thousands of acres. It's huge, this
It's
place.
set back in sort of 19 and 1800s
No,
or something.
set now.
Oh, okay.
And it's basically, it documents the battle between his old-fashioned way of life and the cowboy values and, how they do things, and the modern era where big corporations are trying to come in and build like casinos and hotels and buy his land and buy the land all round about. They basically want him out so they can take over his land because it's prime real estate. It's the best places where they want to, look amazing to have hotels and resorts and property there. And then in amongst that, there's the whole family dynamic. So he's got a daughter called Beth who is fit as, but she's just a raving
now
lunatic.
we know why you like it.
She's just like as hard nosed as you like. She's a character and a half. This lass. But then he's got a young son who's a war vet and dealing with the issues of coming back from Afghan. Another son who I think was adopted, but he's a little bit of a weasel. And
so to say he had a lot on his plate would probably be a bit of an understatement.
Loads. There's so many underlying stories going along with it. But it's really good. I love it.
That does sound good. I'll check that out. Yeah, it does
literally sat and watched like season 1 in a couple of days, season 2 in a couple of days.
So is this your on your own evening, or is this with the missus? And I guess this is.
No, yeah. My missus hasn't got the patience to sit and watch stuff.
Oh, really?
She'll watch one and then she'll be like, right, that'll do. We'll watch the next one tomorrow. I'm like, nah. She goes to bed and I just sit and watch everything.
We've just started binge watching Game of Thrones again. We've seen it about twice.
Never seen it.
The whole thing. Oh, Bruce,
I've seen the first
never
season. That's
seen it. Yeah, it gets better and better and better, apart from the last couple of seasons. But it gets better and better and better. It's very good.
Right.
Very good. Yeah. So we're watching that again for I think the third time.
Jeez,
quite sad, isn't it?
There's so many good series now on like Amazon and Netflix and all this.
Yeah. No, but the reason we're watching it again is because we're going to watch House of the Dragon. I think the new season of House of the Dragon once that finishes. So I think that's the purpose for another viewing.
So you're just what do you do in an evening?
Yeah, that was it. That was it, basically, wasn't it?
So instead of editing videos and filming, you sit and watch what somebody else has done.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, that's it. Because most of my editing goes on during work time, not my work time. So most of that happens then. So yeah, so I'm quite lucky. I don't tend to do editing in the evenings and stuff, or not really at the weekends either. So
how do you do it?
9 till 5.
How do you do it, man? How do you edit so quick? Quick.
Yeah, but they're not fancy like yours. They're just basic. What the bit you said you really enjoy? I watched you when we were talking around. You said you like lining it all up and getting it all there, the whole thing, and then you start putting the frills on. Well, that point you're talking about, that's when I finish. When you've got it all lined up, that's when I finish, mate.
Nah, I've said this to you before. There was a point a couple of years ago. It might have even been before COVID, but there was a point where your production value just switched,
and it was like,
down. Oh wow! No, I think your stuff's awesome.
Yeah,
Genuinely, I think you've got a really good channel. I like what you do.
I appreciate it, mate. Thank you. But
I just don't see how you do
mm,
it so quick.
I think, yeah. Well, I don't do any of the frills, so I've just had to change to, I don't know if people are interested in this, but Adobe Premiere. I've just swapped from Sony Vegas to Adobe Premiere
Hmm.
because the latest Sony Vegas just wouldn't run on my machine. It just kept crashing constantly. And I was like, oh, God. So I just thought, let's just try Adobe Premiere. Everyone seems to say that's pretty good. But it
Yeah,
took me a long time. I couldn't believe how
to learn it.
different it was to Vegas. It's so
Mhm.
different the way it works. And I was like, why is it overwriting these photos? Just destroying that data. Yeah. I was pulling my hair out. Well, I got nothing to pull out.
That's what
And
happens.
it took me well, 5 or 6 videos until I got to a point. But then it's so much better now. It's so
Mhm.
much better now. I know it, and that has sped me up because I couldn't even watch 4K videos played back properly with Vegas. It's so inefficient, that program. It'd just be
Wow.
like a clip show. You'd have to actually render it all out to watch it to then edit the next bit to know what you'd had to
Oh,
change. So it was
Jesus.
so the workflow was ridiculous. Whereas this will play back, multiple cameras, real time,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's very good. It's very good now.
Mm. David also says, you may or may not be aware that Bruce has been around the world, you know. What is your
Oh, I've heard
furthest,
something about
longest,
this.
or most accomplished motorcycle journey? That's for
Oh
you.
goodness. Probably our Pyrenees trip. Me and
My
Ozzy did.
ass!
My
My ass!
ass! Trying to take on too much in a day, basically. And we we set off. I think it was 8:30 in the morning. Rode more or less all the way along the Pyrenees. There's sort of west to east. Got 5 o'clock in the evening. Pulled up. Like, where's the hotel? We'd booked all the hotels. We had to be back in again. I had to be back in 3 or 4 days if it was.
Yeah.
Looked at the knackered. My ass was in pain. Looked at the thing. Oh, the hotel's 300 miles away. We turned up at 1 in the morning. 1 in the morning at the
I did
hotel.
laugh. I did laugh watching that video. It was
And it was
brilliant.
like that was just the first day, and then it's like every day was the same from then. And actually, when that Garmisch trip, we stayed at the B500 in Baden again,
Mhm.
and in the last episode of that Pyrenees tour, I ended up stealing a cushion from the hotel because I knew I had to sit on something soft. I knew because we were riding home for Baden home in the day, and this is quite a way. And I thought my ass is already in agony. How am I going to
Yeah.
sit on the bike for another 14 hours today?
Yeah.
So they had a little tiny little cushion. I thought if I took that and sat on that, that would probably be all right. But if I ask if I can have it and they say no, then I'm screwed because I have to have it. I must have
Yeah.
that cushion or I can't get home. So I ended up stealing this small little cushion for that.
Did you take it back?
Well, I could have taken it back. But anyway, the videos came out and the guy who runs the hotel went mad in the comments that I'd stolen his cushion.
No.
I said, he went crazy. Oh, you stole that. I can't believe you stole that cushion. And this video's got about 60,000 views. There's a good little show around of his hotel inside,
Yeah.
what it's called. I said, no, to be honest, the cushion's probably worth about €3, absolute
Mhm.
tops. You've just had 60,000 views of a showcase of your hotel.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
so I said that I'll send me your details and I'll send you the €10 whatever you wanted to replace. But he
The
never
cushion.
emailed me to send it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when B&W booked the hotel in Baden for this, I thought, don't be.
Yeah.
Don't be that same hotel. Don't be that same hotel. I'm gonna have to stay somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it wasn't. It wasn't, thankfully. But yeah, I did chuckle to myself. If it's that hotel, but if I brought the
It's
cushion back, I could have given it to him, couldn't I?
exactly, yeah.
Didn't think.
It's
Didn't think.
such a shame what's happened to the B500 now, isn't it?
Oh, it's
I mean,
just
it used to
ridiculous.
be such a good
30 mile
road.
an hour speed limits all the way
Yeah,
along.
I
30
know.
mile an hour speed limits
I
on
know.
that road. I was like,
Yeah.
what? And the whole of Germany's the same.
Yeah.
Everywhere we went, it's like 50 kilometres, which is 30 miles an hour, isn't it, more or
Yeah.
less?
It's
It's
insane,
like,
isn't it?
how can this all be 30 miles an hour? I
Did you
think
ever do?
we must have gone through about 5 or 6 speed cameras, I think, going too fast.
Mm.
But I don't think they can do anything about it, can they? I don't think they can do anything.
I
Not
think
now we've
they
left the
can.
EU.
Yeah, they can ask for your details, but
Yeah.
the UK is not obliged to give them anymore.
Yeah,
But they
well, it
can
will go.
ask.
There'll obviously be BMW UK bikes, so it will go to
Yeah.
BMW UK will get anything, but
Mm.
yeah, I mean, maybe not. But you don't recognise what to look for because their cameras are completely different to ours, aren't they? They're
Yeah.
just you just don't see them, and oh shit, I think it was a camera. We
Yeah.
were we were being pretty sensible, but we're probably 20 k's over some of the speed limits at times, which is very easily done. It's ridiculous.
Oh God, yeah. We were in Switzerland last year, year before. I went away with a group of mates, and we were generally very well behaved in the straights. You enjoy the twists, and in the straights, you just have to wind your neck in because there's just no point in getting done speeding. Well, one of the boys got left behind, so he had to catch us up, and we've gone by this massive, great big white stone feature at the side of the road, which you could see from Scotland, never mind at the top of the road. We just looked at it and we were all on the comms and like, is that a speed camera? Yeah, that'll be a speed camera. So we all slowed down, went by it. It was huge, big, massive
really big?
pile of rock white thing. And poor old Nige didn't notice and went straight by it.
Dear.
And he got done for something daft, like I think 8 mile an hour or 9 mile an hour over. And his fine was something like 700 quid. Because obviously it's means tested, and he's a retired, quite well-to-do gentleman. And yeah, he got properly fisted.
Because it's proper, you can get in proper trouble into prison type thing if you're going too quick, can't you?
Yeah.
It put me off even going through Switzerland on a bike. I think I'd be like, there's no point.
It did till I went. And genuinely, I say this to loads of people, it is some of the best riding you're going to get. Like if you go up in the proper Swiss passes, the scenery, I don't think there's anywhere else on the planet that beats Switzerland for the scenery that you get up there.
But if you do a bit of sort of Austria, it's quite similar, isn't it? If you get sort of Austria, don't think it's quite the same.
Yeah, parts of Austria are, but again, you have to be careful with Austria because there's a lot of Austria where they are real tight on speeding, really tight on speeding. Yeah, so you kind of have to pick and choose where you go. To be honest, Shaft's the chap to speak to about Austria because obviously that's where he lives, and he'll tell you the best places to go there.
Well, I know. Well, some of his videos, the roads he's blatting down, look incredible, don't they?
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
Right, cheers for that, David. Next one, Mark. Oh God, Mark Fulcher. How you doing, Mark? Hey, up me ducks. Don't particularly have any questions. However, just a bit of a moan. Since falling to the dark side and becoming a peak lid adventure bike wanker, I've noticed that the respectable nod of acknowledgement between bikers has somewhat fallen by the wayside. Yes, mate, welcome. I'm like a nodding dog going down the road with little to no return. Is this the fact that I'm on my SAS, or is it just bikers are turning into see you next Tuesdays? Your thoughts? One shall not panic, though. The stable is getting an MT10 back in it soon to keep the SAS company. Just hope my leather's still fit. Right, yeah, nod.
Have you noticed that? But I don't often wear the peaked helmet, to be honest. Yeah. But I always nod at all bikers. Apart from see someone on a scooter or something, you might.
I even nod at scooters. But I'll tell you, I'll tell you, being on the GS and wearing the rucker with a peaked lid, it's almost if anyone, if anyone does acknowledge you and nods back, it's almost like they're quite surprised. They're kind of like, "Oh, hi,"
really?
kind of thing. Yeah.
I'm really surprised by that.
Especially down here, the nods nowhere near as prevalent as it is further north.
People getting miserable in their old age.
Yeah, and then if you go into the continent, go across into Europe, and everybody.
Oh, you're waving everywhere, aren't you? Yeah, it makes me laugh when they do the low waves, don't they? And you go, and it's fun, isn't it, Al? But I think I was thinking the other day when I was on that trip, Jeremy, I thought, I know it's like the low wave for most of Europe, but is there anywhere else in the world where they do something different apart from the nodding and the low wave? Is there other countries where there's you would know, where there's some other sort of welcome, you probably one of the two, isn't it?
Just an acknowledgement, it's just you wave, you nod, you do something. I think in the States they've got all sorts of different signs, don't they, for police and all sorts. In fact, is that one here in the UK as well?
Yeah, I've seen that a few times. Yeah, I've had that a few times with police. Yeah.
I'd never seen it until I saw it on social media, the Yanks talking about it, and now people seem to do it. But I'd never noticed it here before.
I probably wouldn't give it. But I would sort of do a flash, But I've had people do it to me. Yeah. So I'm going to cough. I'm dying here. I'm going to cough again. Bloody coughs I've got.
Oh, he's posh. Look, have you got one of those isolators?
I've got a mute. I've got a little mute button. Yeah, I can just touch it. It's a blue nano thing. This microphone. I was recommended by my daughter, so I've never used it. I just wanted it for like voiceover stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully it's all right.
That's very posh.
It's got a little button on it to mute, so it's quite handy if you've got a cough.
I believe it is called the cough button.
Oh, is that right? It's the cough
I
button.
believe so.
Oh,
Yeah.
If it wasn't before, mine certainly is now.
Right, cheers, Mark. I was expecting something far closer to the bone than that. Cheers. John Powell, hi both. Hopefully this podcast will lead to another Big Hunts episode. What are your unpopular opinions? Mine, for what it's worth, is that burgers do not belong in a brioche bun. Milk first. I think that is my most unpopular, most talked about opinion. Milk first and a cup of tea.
Oh yeah, that's ridiculous, Bruce. I have tried it. I thought that it sounds ridiculous, but it's Bruce. He normally knows what he's talking about. I've got to give it a go. Rubbish.
You put too much milk in. It's a dribble.
Rubbish, Bruce. It's
literally
rubbish.
a dribble.
It's a silly idea. But I like quite a lot of milk in my tea there. So then what do you do?
So then you just put a smidgen more.
Well, afterwards. So you're just putting the milk in afterwards then, aren't you? You're just basically...
I've been told I make a good cup of builder's tea, so strong tea.
I don't like that.
So
creosote,
we
call that here.
That's literally just a dribble, just a couple of drops.
It's not worth bothering, is it?
So if you like milky tea, then I would go maybe a half-second pour, maybe. I'm going to make you a cup of tea.
Well, to be honest, you have made me a cup of tea before when we've met up at your place, and it tasted all right. It tasted all right. But what's the whole point of having the water in first is the boiling water infuses the tea in the bag, but if you're cooling it down, so what's the science behind it? But there must be some science behind it.
I've no idea. I just remember Guy Martin talking about it on Closer to the Edge, the TT thing. Yeah. And he said you create an emulsion or something like that. I can't remember what it was. He chatted about it, and he's an advocate of milk first. So I tried milk first because I don't really drink tea. It's for the wife. I have coffee.
Oh, so here we go. This is all part of the problem. Now you don't even like tea in the first place.
Yeah, but my wife is a proper tea connoisseur, and I made her milk first, and she was like, "Oh God, that cup of tea was amazing. What did you do there?" So I told her milk first, and she was like, "Oh no, that's wrong. And I'm like, "Well, you just told me that was a good cup of tea," and now I always have to do milk first for her tea.
Milk first.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. We need some science. We need some science.
Yeah, let us know in the comments, folks.
Yeah. What was the question again? I can't remember. What was
unpopular opinion?
I don't think I've got an unpopular opinion.
You must do.
I can't think of one. I can't think of an unpopular
Do you like
opinion.
high-vis jackets?
No. But I mean, who does? Who does? Apart from the people who wear them.
Nigel's do. Nigel's love them.
Nigel's do. Yeah, high-vis jackets, I suppose. But I wouldn't say that's a popular opinion. That's everyone's opinion, isn't it? 90% of the people don't like those.
You must have an unpopular opinion. I'm trying to think of an
unpopular opinion. Nothing's jumping out. Might have to come back to that one, Bruce. We might have to come back to that one. I apologise.
You might have to ask Mrs. Chops.
I'm sure she's got plenty of. She'll give me a full list. That's a good idea. Yeah, she'll give me a full list.
And John, but a brioche bun in a burger. Oh,
I think that's all right.
I think that's fine.
Bun in a burger.
Oh yeah, smash that. No problem.
It's obviously toasted. It's got to be, if it's brioche, but it's got to be a bit toasted. It's got to be a bit toasted. But yeah, lovely. Have that. Smash that. Yeah, as you say.
What's your favourite burger topping? If you have a burger, are you one of these freaks that just has a plain patty burger?
I quite like. We haven't been for ages, but Weatherspoon's burgers, they do quite good toppings on the Weatherspoon, like a whiskey topping on the cheese, or the gourmet one has I can't remember what it has now. Yeah, bacony sort of blue cheesy sauce. I quite like a bit.
Keep talking to me, Chops. Nearly there.
They're yeah, those. I like a topping. I like a sort of nice Mexican sort of topping as well. A bit of a Mexican spicy burger.
Yeah. God, I'm hungry now.
You have a pizza in a minute.
Is it? Well, yeah. I've got to cook it first.
Right, same.
Ben Farmer. Hiya. How you doing, Ben? Chops.
Hi, Ben.
What's the new 1300 GSA like in the flesh? Having just purchased a 1250 GSA, I've got a little over 3 years on my PCP till I have to decide yay or nay on the new one. I'm waiting to see one first before I pass judgment. Come
I
on.
thought it was all right, to be honest. But I know, when I saw that picture, the jet ski picture,
Yeah.
the day before, like the teaser, I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
this is literally looks like a jet ski. But what on earth is this? Even if it does look like that, who signed off that picture? That
Yeah.
picture makes it look absolutely. Then maybe they were
Yeah.
just preparing people, showing the worst possible angle, and then when you actually
Maybe.
see it, you're pleasantly
Yeah,
surprised.
maybe.
But in the flesh, yeah, it looked all right. Yeah, I thought it looked all right. Honestly, definitely looks better in the flesh than it does in pictures for sure.
Yeah. I
And
remember
I've
you
seen it
saying
the
that.
day before because they'd sort of shared it on the phone and pictures and stuff. And it's not my sort of bike anyway. It's not. I wouldn't buy one, but it's definitely growing on me as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it. I know Andy was like
Yeah.
his comments were unrepeatable,
Yep.
but yeah, I thought it. Yeah, I think in the flesh it looks all right. I think I quite like
I
the little details they've done and the little front luggage
yeah.
areas, and the tank's a bit of a funny shape. That's the only thing I'd say. The tank is a bit of an odd shape, isn't it? I think
But it's
yeah,
different.
it's different. I mean, to be honest with you, at Garmisch, we had a chat with the head of the UK Motorrad. I don't know, I can't remember his name, but he said he's pleased at the response. If they don't get a response like that, they know they've not pushed it enough. They've not pushed far
Wow.
enough in the design. He said
Okay.
if we release a bike and everyone's happy with it, we know we haven't tried hard enough. We haven't pushed enough. So
Interesting.
that was sort of his view on it. So he was quite pleased. He says you always get this sort of like that, but they know they've pushed as far as they could. To modernise it, sort of thing. But
I thought they'd killed the GS brand at the
yeah,
launch. When
did
at
you? Yeah.
Garmisch, yeah, I watched the live launch, and when they like pulled the curtain back, and it was deathly silent. You could almost hear somebody go, and then people started laughing, and I could hear boos, and they cut the live feed, and I was like,
Nah,
"Oh my
I
god!"
was there. There wasn't any bet. It didn't happen. They were not where
You
I
could
was
hear
stood. I
it.
didn't hear that. I
You
didn't hear
you
that.
heard like a gasp, and then it sounded like a boo or something like that, and then the
If
feed stopped.
I've actually got on my tour video. I've got that bit in the video. I was recording it live, so that
Yeah,
bit, that initial unveiling, is actually there. Now it's a little bit quiet. It's a little
yeah,
bit quiet, and then they're like, "Oh wow, look at this!"
yeah. All the
I'm
commentators. Oh
speechless.
wow, yeah.
Yes,
People are just turning around and wandering off.
I know, yeah, exactly. So, but there was no, I didn't hear any boos and stuff. It takes a while for the smoke to clear and actually it's so far away, they see it anyway.
Oh, he's a corporate man. He's a corporate man. I've got to say though, I don't know what wizardry BMW have worked, but the next day, there was a post. There was a post on Insta of the red one, and it was just a certain angle that they
And you
took,
thought,
and
it actually doesn't look as bad as I thought, did you?
it made me go, "Ooh." All the rest of the pictures, I was like, "What is
No.
that?" But this one angle, I went, "Oh, I
Yeah.
quite like that." And then
Yeah,
it grew on
yeah.
me. From then on, it's grown and grown, and
Yeah.
now I'm like, I think this is going to be a massive seller when it hits
Yes. I think it's
the
like the
dealers.
new Panigale just released the other day,
Yeah,
wasn't it? It's like, saw
yeah,
that first, we were like, oh, cool,
yeah.
what has happened to that? But I actually saw it today in the flesh, and it's like, that
Mm,
looks beautiful. It looks amazing.
yeah,
you know. And it's just that initial, because something's different. You're
yeah,
like, that's weird. I don't know what I'm looking at. I just don't like it. But once your brain adjusts over a few days, it's like, well, actually, that's growing on me a little bit now.
and it's not going to be a
Um,
pig to ride, is it? It's still going to
no,
be an amazing
it's going to
bike,
be amazing.
and
Yeah, it's going to
there'll
be
be
an
a
amazing
market
bike to
for it.
ride.
Absolutely,
Oh,
there'll be a market
absolutely.
for it.
And all these people who are slagging it off, but they end up buying one. But they end up
Yeah,
buying one in the end,
yeah, 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 maybe, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure it'll be a winner. I'm sure it'll be a
I
winner.
think it will be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben also says, Bruce, you said you had some issues with your bike. Anything serious or only small annoying things like TMF and MFL? Yeah, we covered
We
this
covered that,
before.
didn't we? Yeah.
There's nothing catastrophic with it. It's just annoying little glitches. I know Mark Hooton over at Cymark, he's had quite a few issues with his, although he did put his hand up and say he had like a catastrophic failure, a big red screen of death on his dash,
Oh,
which
dear.
basically means there's no power at all coming to the bike
Right.
because the battery's done. Well, he did put his hand up and go, well, apparently I might have caused that because the petrol cap, when you where you'd put the key in, where you
Oh,
don't
yeah.
need to put the key in when it's wireless, do you, with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
GSs? But you have to lift up that little lip and that opens the
Yes.
petrol cap.
Yes.
If that isn't all the way down, then the bike doesn't shut off. So
The
he'd
battery
left the bike
flattens.
for like 5 days with that little flip somehow still up. I don't know
Right.
what had happened. I think he'd put his key tag under it. He used that
Yeah.
to keep the key tag for whatever reason. So he drained the battery. But he's had a couple of other issues. He had the starter issue. He's had a few electrical issues and things like that. But,
I
they're dealing
mean,
with it. So
it's the first gen of the bike, isn't it? The first
yeah,
year, next year, it'll be all sorted, won't it? So
yeah.
if you buy a brand new bike the first year, it's sort of fairly normal, isn't it, to have
Yeah,
some little teething, things like
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, definitely. Next one, Adam Shand. How you doing, Adam? Evening, both. Hope you're both well. As a fan of both channels, I'm wondering whether there are any more collabs coming, any more men versus pasties. Secondly, having now all but given up on bikes versus plane 2, can I suggest bikes versus train?
I
The
think Bennett's
longest
have done it though.
continuous train. Have they?
Bennett's did a race from Scotland to John O'Groats or whatever on a train versus someone on a bike. They've sort of done it.
Well, he says the longest continuing train journey in the UK is Aberdeen to Penzance. They even have first class for TMF and Vida, or quite simply, race them from London to Paris, especially as Chops has found his passport again. Keep up the good work, both. Looking forward to this one. So, right, big eats, or the big hunts.
Big
Still
hunts.
loads of questions.
We need
Are
to
we
do
ever
it,
going to
Bruce.
get this going?
We need to do it. I was thinking about it the other day because I knew it was going to come up. We need to do an easy to do one to get us back into it again. Something which isn't too ambitious, I think.
This is the difference between you and me.
No, but like best cream teas or something in Devon or something like that.
We've been to Devon. We've done Devon.
When have we been to Devon? I've been to Devon. Oh, wow, Cornwall.
Cornwall. Oh, sorry.
Cornwall,
Sorry, Devonians. Sorry, Devonians. Sorry.
I've heard there's a good pasty shop as well. You found a new one, haven't you? But we're talking about
loaves. Absolutely.
Maybe we could do another pasty two. Pasty two. Because everyone kept saying, oh, you didn't go to the best one. You didn't go to this one. You didn't go to that one. So maybe we should formulate a list of everyone that everyone said, you didn't go to that one. But we should do something different, I suppose, really. We should do something different.
Yeah,
but I think maybe like the best bacon butty from a van, best van bacon butty would be quite a good one. We could do that relatively locally.
Is that a generic? Yeah, but is that a generic? That's not like a localized thing, is it? Cornish pasties, you've got to go Cornwall.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But the fish and chips was South. That was a bit just fish and chips. You could do that. You could say the same with fish and chips, though.
Yeah, but everyone goes on about Grimsby's got the best fishing, which it didn't.
We didn't go to Grimsby though.
Where did we go?
I didn't go to Grimsby.
Where did we go?
We went to the other one by the sea. Oh goodness, what's it called?
I thought it was Grimsby.
Oh goodness, Whitby.
Sorry, Whitby.
To Whitby. And we went to the wrong place in Whitby as well. We went to the rubbish place. I've had better fish and chips than that place in Whitby myself.
Well, but who was in charge of that one, Chops?
Well, yeah, I know. We're going to sort it. We're going to do something. We're going to only take a day, won't it? We're going to do it. I think the problem with it is, and it's quite an expensive thing to do, isn't it? Because of course you've got all the fuel, you've got all the food, and if the videos don't get the views, you're out of pocket.
You're making about $9,000 a month on YouTube. Come on.
I'll behave. But do you know what I mean? These sort of things have to be sort of funded, don't you know? Especially, I'm in a lucky position because I've got the day job to at the moment. It's sort of fun money for me. So it does, but like yourself, this is.
But I have these lovely people in the clan over on Patreon who support me on Patreon so that I can do stuff like
these
this.
sort of things. So, well, maybe we should just bite the bullet. Well, I have been to Scotland recently, and I tried the haggis. Oh, I love haggis. I'm a proper fan of haggis.
Let's do haggis. We can do that in 3 days.
That's like the most expensive, biggest one to put on, though, isn't it? I think we need to do one where we can, to start with. I'm not saying we can't do that. Well, I think we can, but we should do something achievable that we can do.
See what I'm working with.
Get it started.
Do you know what I mean? John's happy with mediocre. I'm like, shoot for the stars. Let's go.
Still be good. Cream tea in Devon. We can maybe tip into Cornwall and try it the other way around with the jam on top and the cream underneath, just to see the difference. We could upset a load of people with that video, couldn't we?
Absolutely. What food is Milan famous for?
Oh yeah, pizza, I suppose, isn't it? If you're just talking Italy, it's got
is Milan.
pizza,
Naples is not. Naples not the home of pizza.
It could be. Yeah, it could be. You could be onto something there.
Or pizza we combine, in Pisa.
Yeah, Pisa. Yeah, all the way on 125 to eat pizza and best pizza in Italy. You're thinking Panigales or something, aren't you?
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Yes. The new Panigale.
I could see you were thinking that.
The new V4 Panigale and like a Multistrada V4.
Best pizza in Italy. That sounds like quite an ambitious video.
3 days. 3 days.
3 days.
Day there, a day,
including travel
pizza
time.
and beer, and a day back.
Yeah. No, we need to do something. We need to do so we can say yes, we're going to do that.
Someone's going to do that now.
In the
They're gonna
comments.
beat us to it,
I know, we're
because
giving
you
these
won't
ideas
commit.
away for nothing, Bruce. We've all these fantastic ideas we're just giving away to people here. We should be charging for this.
There's only about 5 people watch these vids, so don't worry. It's fine. It's fine.
So in the comments, let us know if try and come. Let's hand it over to the commenters. What should we try and do? Which is not going to involve an overnight. I think we can do in a day. We can realistically do in a day without involving staying somewhere and all of that business.
Yeah, I mean, like, you've never hidden this fact, but, you know, there are constraints about what we can do, folks, and how long we can be away for. So ideally, getting it done in one day is absolutely perfect if we can, for sure. Yeah. So if you've got ideas, leave them in the comments
as well. We've done some big days doing that in a day, haven't we, as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no problem. There's no problem with us doing like a full 24 hours. We can do that, but it's got to be achievable, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right. And we probably won't do it on MV Augustus this thing.
No, what were we thinking?
They were a lot better than I was expecting.
They're brilliant, but it was obviously going to be quite uncomfortable, wasn't it? All the way to Whitby on MVs.
It was me complaining to my arse on that one.
Yeah, I was all right, wasn't it, on that one? My arse is all right sometimes. Sometimes it's terrible for no provocation, and sometimes I could go all day and it's fine. So, I've got some padded shorts now, so it helps.
You've not?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've got some of those padded.
Have you bought
shorts.
one of those windscreen wiper?
I've been asked to feature it on the channel. I mentioned that in my trip video actually to Garmisch, because I was riding back in the rain on my own, miserable. And I was talking about that little windscreen wiper thing because I had a problem with the pin. All the water was getting in behind the pin lock, and I couldn't see anything. It was dangerous. You can't pick visor up because the rain on your eyes. You can't. So it was like I can't see. So I was moaning about that, and it got me onto the windscreen. It's ridiculous. Some people might like it, but it's a bit ridiculous, isn't it?
I swear that has been an April Fool's post on social media for like the last 4 or 5 years. I swear it has. Because I had the email through a couple of months ago with it, and you get junk through all the time, don't you?
It's really bad. You get loads at the moment. So many collabs and things. People are so ridiculous at the moment.
And this email came through, and the picture was that picture I've seen. With this stupid windscreen wiper thing there. And I just thought it was junk. But they contacted me like 3 times.
They did me as well. They did. I just ignored it. I thought I should reply, but I'm not sure I can be. I'm not sure I can be constructive in my reply. Yeah, I'm not interested.
Yeah. I kind of had. I said, "Look, I'm really sorry, but I thought this was a practical joke. I do apologise, but no, I'm really not that interested in it. Thanks for thinking of me, though." But I was like, "No, I can't do that." Jesus.
Well, the trouble is, it's even if it was the best thing in the world. It looks ridiculous, but I could part with that if there was a genuine need to have a wiper on your helmet. But I don't think there is a genuine need for you. Just use your hand, don't you? The main problem is pin locks, steaming inside. It's all the inside problem. Water getting in. That's where the issues are. It's nothing to do with just a bit of beading off of the water on the front.
That's it. All you need to do is that. Turn your head. That's it.
Yeah.
And ride the bike, and the wind will blow the rain off. Anyway.
Maybe they're going too slow, Bruce. I need to get into second gear, don't they?
Take an M1000R out. Wowza.
Yeah.
Cheers to that one, Adam. Next one, Tommy Lindley. Hello, chaps. Hope you're well. All good, thank you, Tommy. One for John. One of my favourite bikes you've had on the channel recently was Gregorio's new Tuono. Have you ridden it for a decent amount of time, and what do you think of it? Enjoy the rest of the summer and see you soon.
I've not ridden it, unfortunately. No, I haven't ridden it. I've ridden many times before. It hasn't changed since the ones I've ridden before. So I know it's a great bike. It's a fantastic bike. It's one of those bikes, a bit like the Super Duke, where you think, well, why haven't I actually? I know you've had one, haven't you? But why haven't I ever owned one? But I just think it's a bit small for a big fatty like me. It's just a little bit small, I think.
One of the best sounding and one of the best handling bikes I think I've ever ridden.
Yeah, without question, best sounding. Without question, sounds incredible. Greg absolutely loves it. He doesn't stop going on about it. He's like, "Oh, that's right, now so good, he just all the time he's going on about it."
Does he do much miles on it?
He uses it for fun. I think he's got about 1,700 on it now. So he's used it a little bit, but
So I think it's every
Yes.
4,000 is valve clearances.
No, it's not. You're talking
But it was
nonsense.
on
Bruce. You're
mine.
talking
On
nonsense.
on my
No,
V4.
it's at 12,000 miles now. 12,000 mile valve checks it is.
Wow.
12,000. Yeah, because one boy, I know that because one boy had his done at 12,000 recently. They didn't nothing to do to them. Took it all apart, put it back together again. Charged him 700 quid. But,
Mine went in for the 4,000 mile service, and they said the valve clue because it was breaking down. It kept conking out
yeah.
every time I rolled off the throttle coming up to roundabouts.
But you had a
junctions.
pipe on it, didn't you?
It was just,
You had a pipe on it.
Yeah, I had Austin Racing.
That's the trouble.
slip-on
That's
on
your
it.
problem. That's your problem. Because I had a chat with sort of the main tech at Aprilia in the UK, and he's like, "Don't change the pipe. If you have to get the Acra
Really?
pipe with the Acra map, otherwise your valves will screw up.
Ah,
It's fueled. It's really sensitive that it doesn't run lean or it's fueled properly.
never knew that.
Yeah, and that's why Greg got. That's one of the reasons Greg got it because they obviously do the Acra can and the Acra map, and you can pop and it keep the warranty as well. You know, you can change your exhaust and get it mapped and keep your warranty because it's all the Aprilia map. But yeah, they're really susceptible. Obviously, if you get the fuel in, if you get it, I guess if you change the pipe, then you get it custom mapped and get the fuel in set for the bike, that would also be fine. But if you just change the pipe and don't do the fueling, then that's when your problems start. Apparently,
Wow, I never knew that.
yeah. And that was from the head tech of Pretty UK said that. Obviously, they see all the warranty claims or people trying to do warranty claims or whatever. Yeah.
So when I took it to the dealership, for the 4,000 mile and said, I'm having all these issues with it, they never mentioned that at all. All the tech said was, yeah, it'll be your valve clearances. And I was like, it's only got 4,000 on it. And he said, no, they need doing every 4,000 and they will need doing. And he said, mine were out as well. Yeah. And they had to redo it.
Well, so Womble's had his 12 done and no adjustment needed. No adjustment.
Sounds like the can is the culprit then if you've got that from them. Interesting. Yeah, fantastic bike, but I don't think I'd own one again, personally.
No, I think I've not. Womble has had a problem with his. His is 2017. It's been faultless. I think he's got 15,000 miles on it now, something like that. But he's had his first problem with it. It came up with a funny sort of error on the dashboard, something about the immobilizer type warning. But the bike would ride fine, but it's like, what's that warning? Googled it, couldn't really find too much about it. Tried to get it, and it sort of only would come on when the bike was cold. Once it was fully warmed up, it seemed to disappear.
Yeah.
Took it for an MOT, and it came up on the MOT. But when that comes up, your horn doesn't work. When it goes into this mode with this alarm, the horn don't work. It's something to do with the switchgear on the left-hand side. And basically the fix is new switchgear, whole new switchgear cluster on the left-hand side, which I think is about 450 quid for the whole thing. So, and of course, it had to come over from Italy. It's not something they keep in the UK. So his bike's been off the road, but it's just back on the road now. He's just back on the road now. But yeah, he's been busy, but it's taken probably 4 weeks to get it fixed and then MOT'd and back on the road.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the only problem he's had, but apparently it is fairly common for the whole switchgear to fail.
How is Womble doing, mate? I miss Womble.
I haven't seen him all year. I haven't seen him. I saw him at the Budget Bike Battle launch in January, if it was. I haven't seen him since because his bike's been off the road. He's not been coming out for rides and stuff. And he's really busy with work. So sometimes he used to pop in during his lunch break and we'd have a chat, but he's not even popped in because he's been too busy. So Sunday we're going our run down to Weymouth that we do. So we've got a bit of catching up to do on Sunday, because I haven't seen him for 6 months. Yeah, so
awesome. He's a good lad.
That'd be good, yeah.
Good
yeah, he's good there. He's a good there.
Right, cheers, Tommy. Thanks for that, pal.
Thanks, Tommy.
Patrick Collum, evening to you both. 2 questions, if I may. Having met you both at the original Budget Bike Battle movie experience, who have you met through biking that has completely surprised you in either a good or bad way? Your choice.
Ooh, that's another good one, isn't it?
TMF.
Yeah, he's a character, isn't he?
Polar opposite of what I was expecting. I was expecting this like beige, quiet, timid, pretty boring chap, to be honest. And he's anything but.
Anything but.
He's a scream. He's like, if you're having a party, TMF you want there.
Yeah. No, I completely agree there. I can't think when we first met. Was it on that? We met before Toro, haven't we? Or did we meet? No. When did we all meet?
I hadn't met TMF face to face until Toro.
Was that the first time we all met face to face? Was it?
I think we'd met.
It might.
I'd met you, I think, at one of the bike
Yes.
shows. I'm sure our paths had
Yes.
crossed at like the NEC or something like that.
I think I've met Andy. May have met him at MotoGP one year before
Right.
we did the Torah thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, you say completely different, isn't it? It was a conscious decision, wasn't it, on his part to have a very
Yeah.
straight sort of YouTube channel, and well, probably a very wise choice in the long run as well for where his channel is now.
For back then, yeah. Like now, I don't think you certainly don't need that now, do you? People want character; they want you to be open and genuine. But I think back then, when things were much more the traditional style of marketing, then you kind of needed to do that, didn't you?
Yeah, you're probably right. It probably is Andy, actually, met through biking.
Anyone else?
Completely different to what you expect. I think most of the other people I've met are what I expect them to be. Do you know what I mean? Most of the other sort of YouTubers or Andy definitely stands out as the one, doesn't he?
He's been the biggest surprise for me. Like Mossy is exactly as you expect. What you see with Mossy is what you get. That's just
absolutely
him, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's brilliant, Mossy, isn't he? What a character Mossy is. Yeah.
Are you doing more with him?
I mean to. We were going to do some like three-way comparisons and bring Mossy in, but it's just so hard to get everyone the date agreed, and then you got to try and organise 3 bikes all at the same time.
Yeah.
I tried to do it, and I thought it's just turned into an admin job. Just are you free on this day? Oh, I can't do that day. Oh no, that bike. Oh, we can't. It's a nightmare, and it's just like I would have liked to, and I want to do something, but it's just proved so difficult to try and get everything lined up. It's just easier. It's hard enough just to get Greg organised with me and get the bikes, to try and bring another person in. And then you don't know how it's going to work, the dynamic of 3 people. It might all change a bit. So it's a little bit of a test from that point of view as well. And Greg's never even met Mossy before, so I don't know if they're going to might having a fight. Don't know. So it's like, so at the moment it's just too many balls in the air to try and get everyone organised, really. But I would like to. Yes, I would like to. Yes, I did invite him. I was invited to a couple of launches, and I couldn't make it. Greg couldn't make it. I'm trying to get Greg to do launches as well. And I said to Mossy, "Can why don't you go on this for me? Also, I'll pay you, and you do it for me." And I think the dates he couldn't do the dates, but he was a bit worried. I keep trying to talk him into doing his own YouTube channel and stuff, and he's very hesitant of doing it. And I'm like, he doesn't like the technology. He gets a little bit scared of it all, I think, sometimes a little bit.
It's funny, isn't it? A lot of not a lot, some of the traditional journos are quite shy or lacking in confidence in terms of like their own YouTube type stuff. Nevesy's a prime example. Like, Nevesy, if you're listening, awesome, mate. I've had a couple of chats with Nevesy on the old DMs and stuff. And
is he coming on?
No, he's not. He does listen, but I asked him ages and ages and ages ago about coming on, and he was just like, I appreciate it, but it's just not my cup of tea kind of thing. But then he's done a couple of his own vids where he's mentioned the podcast and he's mentioned the channel. So I DM'd him again not long after that and just said, look, appreciate you giving me the shout out and I'd love to chat to you. So if you fancy it, come on. It'd be great to have a chat. And and again, not going into the private side of it, but he basically exactly that is that he's not really confident in himself to come out on camera and just do this. He's just I don't think I'd feel comfortable doing it. Really? So fair play. It's not for everybody, is it?
No, so I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's I mean, I've met Neezy a few times on launches and stuff, and he's a really down to earth, nice fella. He's just and everybody you speak to about Neezy on the launches stuff, he's a really nice guy. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And he is, he's one that's exactly like how he comes across on his videos, just really helpful. And because he's got his YouTube channel, which is doing okay, isn't it? For a channel which has started, this day and age, it can't be easy. And I think I've been on 2 launches with him now, and we're having a good chat. And he was getting some tips and tricks about when to publish videos, and I was giving him my wisdom. It's quite nice to give Neezy some wisdom. I had enough wisdom back the other way. It was nice to
that's it.
Give him something back the other way,
But things change so quick on YouTube, don't they? Like, it's just like, can you keep on top of what is the latest I don't know if you can. Like, I remember chatting to Andy about it, TMF, and he was like, he obviously he plays with the clickbaity titles and thumbnails and
Yeah.
stuff, but in terms of times of posting, he was saying he just. I think you do the same,
Yeah,
don't you? You just chuck it
yeah.
up and
I
that's it.
thought, well, I normally post it at like 7:30 in the morning. Or if I can do it 7:30 on a Sunday morning or Saturday morning, that seemed to be
Mm.
the best time. But then
People are lying in
sometimes,
bed.
sometimes if you, because it seems to be the first day goes well, and then the video's never as good the next day.
Yeah,
So once you get that
yeah.
overnight period, it sort of dies off, doesn't it? So I thought if you post it in the morning, you've got a full day, of people to give them time to watch it. But sometimes if you do post a video at like 7 o'clock in the evening, you get that massive intake
Yeah.
sort of straight away. And if it's a good video, it may see you through to the normal sort of
Yeah.
viewing figures that you would have got for that day, and the next day it'll do okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've played around. I'm really not sure if it makes any difference or not. I was convinced that posting in the morning was the thing to do. I was
Hmm.
convinced of that. But so I have done some other times, and they've done all right as well. So
Yeah.
it's tricky, isn't it?
Yeah. Mine's just it's just weird at the moment on my channel. It's just like if I get 9, 10,000 views, that's doing really well at
You
the
need to
moment
get
for
a bit
me.
more
Like,
content on
oh,
there, don't you? That's the trouble. If you've missed
yeah,
a few weeks, and it's all about consistency,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. And the
That is
podcast's
a big
exactly the
thing.
same.
Yeah.
With my tours, I can go a couple of weeks without putting a podcast out,
Yeah.
and literally, I was getting to myself right back up to the top. In fact, I think it had been the top bike podcast
Oh, really?
in
Well
the
done.
UK
Oh,
a couple
nice.
of times. Generally, it was me. It was this and Chasing the Racing. We were
Yeah.
tend to be up the top. And then you miss a week or two, and the next thing you know, you're not even charted. You're like
Mm.
140th, and you're just like,
It's weird,
Jesus
isn't it?
Christ. And it's so
I want,
hard to bring it back up there.
and it's like, is that a subscriber thing if they forget about you, or is it a YouTube thing, or this platform thing? If you're not regular, you get what it suggests it to other people. It pushes it back.
Yeah.
Or is it your
Us.
subscribers are losing interest because you haven't posted a video? You'd like to think not, wouldn't you? You'd like to think
I
it was
know.
YouTube was the
Yeah.
reason for it.
Don't know. But then
No,
I
I
think
think
I think
yeah,
people just get bored as well, though, don't they? I do a channels. I'll
yeah,
I'll I'll
yeah.
happen
You
upon
do.
a channel like a YouTube channel, and I'll be like, oh, I love this, and you sit and you binge watch, and
Yeah.
then you every time a new vid comes out, you sit and you watch and you watch and you watch, and then something happens where you're just like, didn't really enjoy that, and the next thing you know, because you've not watched a
You
lot of
not
that
watch the
vid,
next one that
they
comes
don't.
out.
Yeah, the next one that
Yeah,
comes out, you don't watch that, so the algorithm just goes, well, you're not interested in that anymore, so it
yeah.
disappears off your feed, and then you know
It's true.
months
Mm.
go by and then it pops up again. You're like, oh, I remember them.
You start watching again.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I think that is definitely a thing, isn't it? I do the same. I do the same. So that is definitely a thing.
Right. Second
Yeah.
question from Patrick. If there was one person you could go for a ride with right now, for whatever reason that may be, who would it be and why? Someone alive, not a fantasy from 20 years ago or more. So someone alive right
Oh,
now,
right now for a
take for a
ride.
ride. Who'd it be?
Oof. Probably be my mate Wombat. It's been so long since I've seen him because he's been off the road.
Oh,
It'd be
oh.
good to have a catch up. Um, who else would be good to go for a ride? If it was more than one, I'd love to go out with you and me, us four out for a
Yeah,
ride.
that was a
I
giggle,
don't know
though.
why we haven't done that. Even forget cameras and stuff.
Yeah,
Just go out and have lunch somewhere. Have a meet up. Have some lunch out. Go for a
let's do it.
ride.
Let's do it.
You should do it. Yeah.
We're
There's
all
no.
self-employed now.
I
We're
know.
all
Yeah. Well, I'm not.
self-employed.
I'm not. I've still got a day job, mate. Speak
Yeah,
for
but
yourself.
you're contract worker, though, aren't you? So
No. No. No.
are you not?
Well, no. No. I'm meant to be nine to
Hmm.
five. I'm meant to be nine to
Yeah,
five.
meant to be.
Better be.
Bring your laptop with you. You'll be fine.
Big laptop. But we should just do that. We should
Okay, let's do it.
just do it. Yeah, should do it. Andy, you'll bet you're watching. We need to just do it.
He'll
Because
be
Richie's
watching.
miles away, isn't he? Richie's bloody
Yeah.
miles away. That's the problem, Richie. Doing his house up as well, isn't he? He's probably
Oh, mate.
up to his elbows
Jesus.
in plaster.
Yeah, he's loving it, isn't he? Loving
Yeah.
it. I think for me, hmm, putting a sensible hat on, I would love to take my dad for a ride on the bike just because I grew up not knowing that my dad
Mm,
used to be a biker. My dad used to have a bike back in the
yeah.
day. So I would love to take him out for a spin on the back. And then in a sort of a fantasy realm, who would I take out for a ride? Be somebody like Keanu Reeves or Billy
Mm.
Connolly or something like that.
Yeah. I tell you who, someone like Richard Hammond or something like that, because he's got a lot
Yeah,
of bikes and he's really
yeah,
into
yeah,
bikes. Yeah, one of those sort of Grand Tour or James May. I bet you'd have some right stories,
yeah,
If yeah, one of those guys would be cool, wouldn't it?
yeah.
That would be cool.
Someone to have a good conversation with,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
story or two. Right, nice one, Patrick. Next one. How many more of these? Jesus, still shed loads to go.
Is there? We're gonna have to bang
Yeah.
through these. What's the
SB
time?
5 to 8.
Is it really? Bloody hell.
Yeah. SB 97. Evening media moguls. How you doing? You all right?
Thank you.
I know. Question 1. What's your opinions on a bike being too much for the road in the UK? I've owned a Hayabusa and a ZZR 1400, and when I got shot of a mate's H2, that was just mental ballistic. I loved it, but just couldn't trust myself. When is too much too much? I don't think we've reached that point yet.
Do you not?
No. No.
No, I think we have. I think like my H2 is too much. That's too much.
Yeah, but you can still ride it.
You can, but it's less
On the
fun
road?
though. There's less
Yeah,
fun than
granted.
riding something smaller.
Yeah, of
So
course.
yeah, you can ride it. You can go as fast as you want it to go, but it's what's the point?
Mm.
And everyone, a lot of people say, "Oh, how fast you had out of it? What have you had up to?" It's like about 120. And it's like, well, surely you've gone flat out on it down the motorway. I was like, no, of course I haven't.
Mm.
Well, I was doing 200 mile an hour down the bloody M27.
It's not worth it in the UK anymore, is it? You're going to prison.
You go to prison. It's like, oh, God, come on. No, but really, what's it, what you done on it? It's like, well, no, that's it, top of third gear, probably, that's because you're going stupid fast. And, first gear, you can't really use it because it just wheelies. So you can't, second gear, really a bit, but you still can't give it full. So you're talking third gear before you can actually give it full power. And then, Christ, how fast you go in top end of third gear at H2? You're going rather fast.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
so it's pointless really because you can't use that power. It's too much. It's like I'm not using it.
First gear on the M1000R, I tried, and it was on a closed road. Obviously, you're hitting. Well, I saw 80 at one point. And you're like, that's insane. That's like, the Gixxer. Remember the old?
Yeah.
The Gixxer is exactly the same. With the Gixxer, you can be doing 90 odd mile an hour in first gear. It's just insanity.
Yeah.
But I still don't think it's too much for the road because the power's there, but it's still a usable bike. Yeah.
No, I would agree.
But what I do find is I've got the Honda CBR 650R at the moment, the E-clutch one.
Yeah.
And, that's a perfectly capable bike. But when you go for the overtake, it's not got that grunt and the power that the bigger bikes have got. And when you're used to that, you suddenly realize, it's actually safer having, this is my hat on, this is how I explain it. It's safer having more power because you can do the overtake much quicker and then get back to normal, decent speeds.
And it's not just about the power either. That bike's so capable in the corners. The brakes are so good.
Yeah.
Everything, you've got that bit of reserve, haven't you? You're not pushing the limits of the bike.
Mm-hmm.
So you can stop ridiculously fast if you have to, if there's something pulls out on you, or if you've got a banker in a bit more to swerve back in even harder, then the performance is there. The bike can do it. So in some, you could argue they're safer. Like you say, you could argue they're safer.
I'll maintain it is safer.
It is safer, yeah. But I mean, I think you're right. That bike, you can use that power on the road. I would agree. But I think the H2 is like 250 at the back wheel. That is getting to the point where that is too much. That is too much. And I'd argue that the Fireblade I rode the other day was too much as well, because it was the way it's all about the way the power's delivered, isn't it? I guess is the ticket, isn't it? If it's all flat and then it's very peaky, and when by the time it's starting to go on power, you're already doing 70 miles an hour, then that does become a bit.
That used to be how the MV Augustas were. Literally, it felt like you waited an age for the thing to wind up, and then when it hit that power delivery, it just went off. But as you said, you're already doing like 80, 90 mile an hour.
That RS, remember that RS Brutale, the 1000 Brutale RS? That was really flat, wasn't it? And that just did the same thing. That just went. But we could excuse that because that sounded so amazing when it went there.
And it looked awesome.
And it looked awesome.
Yeah.
But
I just think in this day and age, the fact that we've got these motorbikes available for us to buy however you can
yeah,
and ride on the road, I think that is awesome. And we should never, ever, ever lose that.
no, I would agree.
Hopefully
I
it'll
would
never
agree.
go.
Amen. Amen.
He's got a second question. Technology and bikes. I found the electronics on bikes have got to the point it's just too bloody complicated. It might be my age. I swapped my BMW 1250 RT back to a VFR 800, which has ABS and basic TC, but is less likely to cause me a massive bill with electronics going pop in years to come. What's your views on this?
Yeah, interesting one. I do think there is a lot of tech on bikes, like the new BMW, for example, especially with the suspension that goes up and down as you come to a stop. What's that? How's that going to be working in 10 years' time? That
Yeah,
going up and down.
yeah,
So I do agree. It's fine if you've got it on PCP and you're giving it back after 3 years when the
yeah.
warranty runs out.
I'm guilty of
It's
that.
not a
Yeah,
problem, is it? It's not a problem. But yeah, if you're going to look, if you're this bike is a potential prospect to buy in 10 years' time in the used market, and I bet you need the computer to plug in to fix
yeah,
9 out of 10 of the issues you may find. So you've got
yeah.
to go back to the dealer. So I would agree from that point of view. But from a usability point of view, I think the tech's great,
Mhm.
when it's working,
Yeah,
But yeah, from an ownership point of view in the future, then not so
could be a
much.
nightmare. If
Mm,
you look at, like we just spoke about, the power and performance of these modern bikes,
yeah,
without those electronics, the vast majority of us would be doing bloody well to stay upright on the bikes. I think a lot of the time, wouldn't we?
exactly. Yeah,
Pulling away or braking or even going around a
yeah,
corner half the time
yeah,
without a lot of the electronics, especially if you're getting a lick on and using that power.
yeah.
Sheesh,
And
I
and
think
I
I would.
think the last, let's say, 4 years, 5 years at an absolute push. The electronics, the traction control systems, the wheelie control systems are now at a point where you don't really notice them working.
Mm,
So you're not hitting that wall of like the wheelie control dropping the front really hard
yeah,
because it's suddenly
yeah,
realised it's reached the point. They're
yeah.
so sophisticated now it won't let that wheel come up in the first place if you have
Mm,
that wound up, and you won't you won't notice that.
mhm.
So, and especially the BMW electronics, I find the traction control really good because you just put it in dynamical road and it just sorts it out. You're not sort
Yeah.
of choosing a level to think, oh, level 3 or level 4 for this surface.
Mhm.
It's in road mode. It's just
Yeah.
leave it. It will sort it. It'll keep you safe.
Yeah.
But I think that's only if you go back any further than 5 years. They feel a lot more rudimentary.
Oh
Like
yeah.
Womble's Tuono, for example, his 2017. It's so intrusive electronics on that bike. And as
Yeah.
soon as that power comes in, it all starts flashing like a Christmas tree, and the front drops down, and power disappears. But the very modern stuff is so well integrated.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah.
You can always tell a bike that's got like cheap ABS because it's like the
Yes.
old ABS. Remember where it used to like used to do
Yeah,
that, didn't it?
exactly.
Yeah,
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 I'll
yeah.
slam the rear on just see what the ABS is like, and if it's like,
That's it.
that's rubbish.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
horrible.
yeah, exactly.
Last one from Esby. Where did your lamb chops nickname come from? I know where TeapotOne originates, but others might not. Thanks for the respective content you provide. Keep up the good work. Stay safe and have fun. So lamb chops. You've
I
done
think
this
you
to
know this one,
death,
Bruce,
haven't you?
don't you? But
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was an old. I used to do a lot of not online gaming, before online gaming, like PC gaming. Used to go around on a Wednesday evening and carry all our PCs around to each other's
Dungeons and
houses. And
Dragons.
yeah, it's very, very nerdy. Link them all up and like play games multiplayer. And I used to have big sideburns at the time. So my sort of gamer tag was lamb chops. So I'm sort of like lamb chops, those. And so anyway, so that was sort of a gamer tag back in the 90s when we used to go PC LANing. Yeah, and when I did the channel, I thought that's sort of a nickname. Let's just do lamb chops, and,
That was that.
and it sort of
The
stuck. Really,
legend
that was
was
that. That
born.
was it. Yeah, simple as that. Simple as that.
Nice one. Cheers, Esby. Next one, Tim Parsons. Evening, gents. Hope you're both well. One of the all-time greatest biking vlogs was the legendary challenge with you two, the boy Richie and TMF. Now, with more sophisticated cameras and audio and your advanced editing skills, the time is right to do it all again. Can Chopsy find a gap in his newfound stardom to allow another gathering of the top four? Well, Tim, we've covered this one.
We
Let
have.
us know in the comments. Tell us
Yeah, let's
where
know
we're
what we
going,
should
what
be
we're doing.
doing. Mm.
We're going to make it happen. Chopsy
Are
said
we
it.
going to make it happen? We're going to make it happen. Yeah, the reasons I couldn't do stuff is because of the missus and their anxiety, suffers from anxiety, and when I'm away, she's much worse. So that's sort of the main reason for it. But she's been, touch wood, the last sort of 6 months or so, a little bit, not perfect, but a little bit better. So that's why I've been able to go on more trips and all the rest of it. So long may that continue. The longer that continues, the more bugging off I can do.
Getting a lot of milk and post delivered to the house.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's all right. Right, Carl. Is Lamb Chops going to keep his next project under 4 years? The Hypermotard project I had to keep rewatching so I could remember what he did.
Oh, you and me both. I was to watch it as well to say we're back together again. It was that long ago. Yeah, no, that's all done now. So there will be a final episode coming, like a big reveal of it all completed, and the first ride videos all recorded as well. The next one is that ZXR 750 I've got sat in the corner. It's been sat there for a year, gathering raw dust. So that will start in the autumn, and that will be, well, I say it now, but it will be done for the winter. It'll be done by next spring, I'm going to say.
Have you had your best blagging hat on for the parts to this one?
I haven't. No, I haven't done any blagging on that.
I don't believe that for a second, John.
I'm going to try. I'm going to try, Bruce. I'm going to try. You can believe you me, but yeah, I haven't started the blagging yet. But it's just going to be a restoration. It's not going to be upgrades and stuff. It's it's just going to be made back to standard condition, really. So my mate Adam, he does a lot of the powder coating and stuff with the place he's working at. So he will do that for me, and they get some good shout outs for that work. But I'd like someone, because it's probably going to need a new clutch, and I don't know what it's going to need until I start taking it apart, really. Yeah. But I need to find someone like one of the parts suppliers who wouldn't mind doing a little bit of a partnering up, because I've got another project as well. It's my new R1, that original R1 I've just bought.
Oh, yeah.
Which is going to be a series of videos of buying a bike, sort of $3,000 to $5,000, let's say, doing some videos on it, doing some comparisons with that bike and its modern day equivalent, and then basically raffling it off on the channel. So and then buying another bike. So sort of turning that around in 4 or 5 months or so. So I've actually been talking to a company who does one of these raffle companies who's just started out. So that could actually be happening.
Yeah, nice one.
So it's the same. You just don't get to ride used bikes. It's really hard to ride used bikes, isn't it? And that's what a lot of we're very fortunate we're riding all this new stuff. But there's people out there who haven't got that sort of budget to spend $20,000 on the M1000R, and $3,000 to $5,000 is their budget for their fun hobby that comes out on a Sunday morning. Which is perfectly. That was me. It was me before I started jumping on these new bikes. So yeah. And there's a lot of bikes I think, I'd like to try one of those. I'd like the original R1. I went out the other day and recorded the first ride. It's like, this may be 25 years old, but this is still a bloody good bike for $3,500, So yes, that's going to be a new little series of Tropsy buys a bike, does a few jobs on it, simple jobs. It's not going to be a full restoration, and then gives it away.
That's going to be really popular. That you get. Yeah. That's one of the most common sort of comments I think I get on bike review vids, is just like, can you do stuff that's more attainable? Because we can't all afford 15, 20 grand for a bike.
Exactly.
Good point. Well made. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So that's channel's going to grow even more.
I've had to sell my K8 GSXR, though, my beloved K8 GSXR, to put the money into the pot to do such things. But I think it'd be worth it. It's not to that bike's. Well, when I sold it, I didn't really advertise it. Someone just emailed me and said, if you ever sell that bike, by the way, I'll have it. And I was sort of thinking, I've got too many bikes in this garage. It was getting on my nerves. I didn't have any room. And I was like, I've got no room. I've got two. I'm not even riding this thing. Why don't I just sell it? So the email came in and I thought, you know what?
At the right time.
Yeah, okay. If you want it, you can have it. And he did. But I was going to do a this bike's going video and ride it. But I thought, I don't really want to ride it. Because if I ride it, I might not want to get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think one day I'm going to regret selling that, but it'd be nice just to have something new, just these older bikes. And the problem's going to be, like with the R1, I'm already thinking, actually, I quite like this. I wouldn't mind keeping this.
Yeah.
So you end up doing all the jobs on it, getting it all up together, and then be like, I've got to give it away now. I don't think I want this, really.
Think of the marketing value.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'll do wonders, that. Right, next one, Charlie Callard. Evening, gents. Hope you both fit in well. So, questions. If your name were to go down in the history books, what would you want it to be for?
Oh, blimey. There's probably no chance of that ever happening, is there? But I don't know. Oh, what about you answer that first, Bruce? I can't really think. What would I want it to be?
Jesus.
Down in
Down
history.
in history books. Bloody hell.
Yeah, I'm rubbish at these sorts of questions. That's difficult, isn't it? Nothing to
Wow.
do with like what we're doing, it's just something else. But like a really silly Guinness World Records of some sort of eating challenge.
I just, I just, I just want I just want people to be inspired to do stuff. That's,
Yeah, yeah,
I just want the channel, the content to make people think, right, I'm going to get off my arse and I'm going to go and do whatever it is that I've wanted to do
yeah.
and I've never done. But I don't think my content does that. Do you know what I mean? But that's what I want it to do. Because I was chatting with
Well,
Andy
that's
about this. It's like, I don't
yeah.
think I make the stuff that I actually want to make.
No.
And I need to change that. But I don't know what I want to make. You know what I mean? Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, you want
I've
more
got
sort of a vlog style, your life sort of vlog thing, really,
I
don't
think
you?
that's what
Not
I
so
want to
much
do.
bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Travel, well, but bikes, because bikes are my life, but
yeah,
travel's my life. But I want the travel and the bikes to combine to,
yeah,
like, I don't know, just inspire folk to do whatever it is that their thing in life is. Just get out there and
yeah,
do it. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
No, that's that. Well, you could be that's your answer, really, isn't it? Be remembered for being that guy that did that. I mean,
Hmm.
that's it, isn't it?
Well, how'd you do that?
Well, you just do it, I suppose. You do it.
Yeah.
You do it. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
I
Tough
don't
one.
know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think I've really got any.
You don't do this
What am
deep shit, do you?
I don't. I'm not very good at the deep shit. I'm not very good at the deep shit.
It's like Andy. Andy doesn't like all this sort of stuff.
No. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
I find that sort of question really difficult.
yeah,
Really,
yeah,
really
yeah.
difficult. Mm.
Yeah, Dickie loves all this sort of deep stuff, doesn't he?
Spiritual
He's quite
stuff.
an
Yeah,
emotional soul, isn't he,
yeah,
Dickie? And
yeah.
yeah, he loves all that sort of stuff. Charlie also says, also, is it just me, or is garnish or side salad just a total waste of space for extra meat or chips when out at a restaurant?
Absolutely. It's literally just garnish, isn't it? You don't eat that, do you? You're not meant to eat it, are you?
I like a bit of salad. I've got to say, obviously,
I don't know. I like a Caesar salad, something smothered in something unhealthy, and
cheese and
then it's cheese, and then it's okay.
yeah,
Then
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
okay.
Cheers,
But
Charlie. Thanks for that, pal. Charlie's the chunky bearded biker, I think is
chunky
his
bearded
tag.
biker. Oh, okay.
Next one,
Check him out.
Gordon Bissell. How you doing, Gordon? Hello, gentlemen. A question for John. Have you ever considered taking tours away to the continent or perhaps even around the
Mm.
UK? Don't take that from me as well. Come on.
I quite like to do, like we said, a meetup, and then maybe have a like Dickie does his wild bear thing,
Yeah.
and do like a lead ride. It'd be quite nice. But now I don't think I'd like to do. I think it's too stressful doing what you do. Just taking it. There's no fun in it. There's no fun if you're actually doing it, really. Or there is some fun, but I'd imagine it's a lot more fun actually going on the ride than being the person organising it.
Yeah, it's hard in the sense that you do it becomes a business and
Yes.
you do have to put a business head on,
Yeah.
and you have to remember this isn't your ride. This
Yeah.
is their holiday. It's their trip. It's not whether or not you're enjoying it. It's whether or not they're enjoying it. But
Yeah.
obviously, you can't be. There's a few times when, like, uh, if I get tired or if I get annoyed or frustrated about something, I find it quite hard to bite my lip. So, you know,
Mm.
if traffic's fucking me off, or someone in the news is fucking me off, or just something at that time is fucking me off, I'll be in a bad mood. But you can't be like that with punters. You know,
No.
you've got to try and be
Got to put that
jovial
face
and
on.
fun,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah. Put the big boy pants on
Well,
and get on with it.
it's a job, isn't it? It's better than working at McDonald's. It's riding motorbikes abroad or
Yeah.
in fantastic roads, but
I'm
it's
not out there
still
digging holes in the pissing
exactly. It's
rain. You
still a
know, you're
job, isn't
riding
it?
back.
You're still
Yeah,
there. It's
yeah,
a job.
yeah.
So yeah, I'd like to do like a lead ride as part of a meetup or something, but I wouldn't want to do my own tour. I don't think that sounds all too much like hard work to me.
It's a lot. It's a big responsibility.
Yeah.
Sadly, as we found out recently, you know, things can go
Yeah.
very wrong. So
Well,
you know, it's a big responsibility to have. So that will.
awful.
Yeah, cheers for that one, Gordon. Next one, Andy. This is the last one from
Ah,
Patreon.
okay.
I think we're timing this quite well, John, actually.
We doing all right, are we? What's the time?
Quarter
Quarter past?
past.
Quarter past?
Last one, Andy. Evening, gents. Nice to see you both again and have to start by saying I loved the Big Hunt series. First
Aha.
question to John. Having set up your dream garage recently, what bits of advice would you share with us about it and what would you do? What would you do differently? We kind of covered that, didn't
Well,
we?
yeah, we did that one already, didn't we? We sort of just the socket placement, really, Mandy. That was it from an easy thing to fix.
But what
I
what
was really, I thought there'd be a lot more stuff. I think, oh, why didn't I do that? Oh, why didn't I do that? But honestly, it's been, that sort of project. I thought long and hard about
yeah.
for ages and ages. The layouts, I had all sorts of things done in Photoshop where I could fit these cupboards. All played around it. So I did really look into it, and yeah, it's just turned out really exactly as I wanted it. I can't really argue. Really happy.
So in terms of the planning and preparation that you did then, obviously it worked. It was good. So
Yeah.
what sort of stuff would you say to people? Think about this, think about that when they're planning their own garage.
I think you need to think what you want to do with the space. What do you want in that at the end of the day? Do you want workbenches? Do you want cupboards? And there's always, no matter what sort of space it is, there's always some limitations, isn't it? Like I had little brick supports which came out in the middle, and it was like, that's annoying because if I could have put a nice run of cabinets along there, but now I've got this, it steps out 5 inches, and so I've got to work around that. But I sort of looked to try to think of exactly what furniture I wanted to put in there, what units I wanted to put in there, sort of measured it all out, see where it would all fit, and had a very close sort of image of how I wanted it to look at the end and what I wanted in there right from the start. And I think, and how you want to use that space. Do you want your tools here and your bench here? How are you gonna work in that space, sort of moving around and that sort of stuff. And it seems to have, it gets to a point there's just too many bikes in there, and no matter what I've done, you couldn't have got around that. When there's 8 bikes in there, you've got no room. But yeah, so I think just plan as much as you can. Plan as much as you can would be my advice there.
I think I'll be on the blower to you because I think that's going to be my next thing once I get the garage empty. Is I need to do something. I want to make it more of a. It's just so cluttered, full of guff, and I want to make it a more pleasing space for me to be in, and also like a better backdrop to filming. When you're doing like garage vids, when your garage just looks like utter crud and there's just shit everywhere. It's like, oh.
It's like my office here. I've got a slight blur in the background because I've just got. Oh, yours is amazing. This is my little study where I do all my editing and stuff, and it's just.
You don't see
I
down
had so
here.
many grand plans of what this is going to look like in here, and I've sorted the garage out, but this room is still on the list, and it's like a dumping ground. Something turns up, and it's like, oh, where's that going to go? Just chuck it in the office.
Yeah,
but this is not me. This is the bloody missus. I come in here and it's like, why is your hat in here? Wow, I don't want your
shoes.
Hat in here.
It's like,
shoes. And there's a shoe cupboard. There's a shoe cupboard behind me with all the shoes in and the Hoover. So all that sort of tends to overflow and get all that. So yeah, I'd like it nice in here.
This is the one room of this house where I can't blame my wife because she basically just puts all her shit in every other room of this house. This is all me. What you don't see is before the podcast starts, I literally go. The floor is covered.
Oh,
covered. And then everything.
Can you move your camera? We got to see this
okay.
floor. It's fit? Come on.
Right, hang on. Okay, so that's my desk. Look at the desk, and you see all the stuff on the floor, and it goes in around there, and then behind me here.
That's terrible, Bruce.
Oh, it disappeared. Right, there you are.
I heard you like walking around, cracking things, breaking underneath.
Yeah, I know.
You're just treading them into the carpet.
It's another camera gone. Just burst the battery. Yeah. Well, never mind. Last one from Andy. He says, to you both, how do you think the biking community will change with the market becoming split between 25 grand plus and sub 8 grand bikes? Oh.
There's stuff in between, though, isn't there? There's stuff in between that. There's plenty of stuff in between. So I don't think that'll happen because there'd always be people who've got more money and can afford the more expensive bikes, and there'll be people who either don't want to spend the money or the cheaper bikes and the stuff in the middle. So I don't think that's ever going to be a problem.
Yeah, I think there's always going to be a market for everything in between. To be perfectly honest.
Yeah, exactly. And the biking bikers are getting older, as we know, and
Mhm.
as you get older, you end up with a bit more money, don't you? So,
Mhm. Yeah.
so that there's probably more people buying the expensive stuff than what there was 15 years ago. Probably
Yeah.
it's probably but yeah,
And then there's definitely a younger market coming into biking now. I
yeah,
definitely think there is a in that sort of mid 20 to mid 30 bracket. That is, to me,
yeah,
that looks, maybe it's just because there's more people on the socials than there used to be, but that seems to be the growing market on socials,
yeah.
is
Okay,
particularly female
interesting.
market
Yeah,
and young, like the younger sort of market.
but are you
Username
seeing?
Kate, that sort of age
Yeah,
group.
yeah. But are you seeing your sort of age groups of the people watching your videos? Obviously, you can see that. Are you getting many young people watching? I know we're probably not the best because we're sort of getting
There's
on. I'm more so than you, but so
not much.
to look at us, you may not know.
Definitely the sort of the mid 30 bracket is getting a
Yeah,
lot better on mine.
yeah.
That is rising for sure.
But below that,
Um,
it's just more or less nothing, isn't it? If you're talking
yeah,
like
yeah,
16,
not
the
much.
very young, it's
Oh yeah,
nothing, isn't
no,
it?
no, no. I don't make the stuff that, well, none of
No,
us
they
make
will.
the
No,
stuff
no,
that
they
they want
will.
to.
No, that's true.
The
That's true.
stuff that they watch on social media is the stuff that really hacks me off about, it's people doing wheelies and
Yeah.
riding way too fast through
Yeah,
traffic, revving
in
around.
their
It's just like,
shorts and
yeah,
just a
you're
pair of
just like,
shorts.
you fucking idiot,
Yeah,
Jesus.
I know.
But
Yeah,
yeah, we've all ridden like cocks in the past, and we'll continue to do so at certain times. I just don't put it on camera anymore.
that's it. Yeah, you're wearing just your wide fronts normally, aren't you, riding
Yeah,
around?
exactly. Yeah, my flip flops, my Crocs.
Well,
Um,
people I saw in flip flops and garbage, like riding around.
I
It's
remember you
like
saying on video,
flip
yeah,
flops, yeah. It's like,
yeah,
why
yeah.
flip flops? Yeah, mad, isn't it?
Finally, any plans for 2025? You fancy sharing projects and trips?
God, I can't think that far ahead. I can't plan that
Hmm.
far ahead. I'm sort of a month ahead best, with this YouTube stuff. I do. I wanted this year. I wanted to go to the Isle of Man and do a sports bike comparison at the Isle of Man.
Yeah, yeah,
But that just again timings, trying to organise things. ABR festival. Everyone's bikes at the ABR festival. They've not got any bikes they can lend me. But I'd like to try and make that happen next year. The comparison video on some sports bikes at the island. Not during TT or anything. I'm just talking outside of TT. But
yeah,
being able to open them up on camera a bit more legally, and
yeah, and
and
have a bit of
really
fun.
have a bit of fun. I just want to do it for me, really, more than making a video.
Yeah, yeah,
Also,
yeah,
make a video
definitely.
while we're there.
Um, yeah, I'm interested in you saying that you only work like a month ahead.
Yeah,
Genuinely, is that what you do? Do you just work a
yeah.
month ahead?
Honestly, really, yeah, yeah. I'm thinking about what we're going to do because of day job and obviously editing, and it's just I can't plan too far ahead.
Yeah,
Unless there's a trip like that, which obviously you need to plan.
yeah,
But normally, it's like I couldn't tell you what content I'm going to be releasing in September.
yeah,
I'd have an idea for September. By October. I've got a clue. I haven't got a clue what's going to be on the channel in October. I don't know.
yeah. That's true. In terms of actual content for the channel, yeah, I'm very guilty of that. I don't actually plan anything in terms of the
Yeah,
channel, which probably shows. But I do have to plan. Like we're planning next year's tours at the moment,
of
and
course.
that'll be
That's
done
that's
within
that's
the
sort of
next.
almost like a different business though for you,
Yeah,
that isn't it? That's
yeah,
that's a separate business, really, isn't it? To YouTube.
yeah,
Obviously, it's going to go on YouTube, but that would happen either way, whether you're doing
yeah,
YouTube or not. You'd,
yeah.
you'd be doing that, wouldn't you?
But because of that, anything else has to fit in around that.
Yes,
So
of
it's like,
course. Yeah,
like
yeah,
AB, you mentioned ABR. Well, I kind of need to look at it. Like this year, I just thought, well, I've done the last three ABRs. And I was just, I'm going to take a year off. And it looked amazing
it
this
looked
year.
amazing. I've never
And I was
been.
like,
I was
oh,
like,
bugger,
oh,
I
it
wish I
does look
went.
good. It does look good.
But then if I had gone, it's pretty much June and July, I'd been away. So
Yeah,
it's like, I'm not home for that time, which isn't fair on me missus. And then when do you edit? When do you
I know.
actually do the
Yeah,
work?
yeah.
Because it's like, shit,
That's
what am
right.
I going to do? So it's all that sort of stuff you have to factor in, isn't it? But
It's
yeah,
not easy, is it? Not easy.
I might have a big trip early next year, maybe, but nothing is set in stone yet.
Okay.
So
Can
I'm
you
not
let
going to
anything
say.
go, or do you not know more than
No,
that for the
I'm
minute?
not saying anything yet, but it might
Okay.
happen, and I really hope it does happen. Um, and what else? Next year, I'm determined. I really, really want to do my cycle around the UK.
You've been on about that for a few years now,
I
haven't
have.
you?
So it's got to
Yeah.
happen, and I just have to try and fit. It's going to be harder than ever next year because I'm pretty much away every 3 weeks. So it's like,
Mm.
well, how am I going to fit effectively what could be 2 months on a push bike?
Well, and you've got to get. Can't just decide you're going to go, can you? You've got to get yourself fit to be able to do it.
No. I'm not training. I'm
You're just
going
going to go. Just go. Right,
just
get the
gonna
bike
go.
out. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Behave.
I'll get fit when I do it.
You'll be ruined.
Yeah, well, but I mean, you know,
That's
oh
all
well,
part of
c'est la
it.
vie.
You're not a man who shies away from a bit of
Well,
personal suffering, are you?
no, I quite like it. No,
Sadistic way.
Right,
Sleeping in the rain by the side of your bike when you're riding around the UK.
Sleep when you're dead. Yeah,
who needs a hotel? Who needs an Airbnb? Just sleep by your bike. What's wrong with you?
Obviously, it's going to be sponsored by the Holiday Inn. Obviously.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Mate, that's us coming up for past, but we've literally just finished the Patreon questions.
That was it. Oh, we have to do a part 2 at this rate, aren't we?
It's about part 4 now, isn't it?
Part 4.
Yeah, folks, for those of you who aren't on Patreon, who left questions over on Instagram and Facebook, thank you, but I'm really sorry we never got to them. Apologies. We'll get you on. And then to the next one. If we do a meetup, why don't we do a meetup?
And some questions at the meetup.
We'll do it at the calf or something.
Of course.
And we'll just run through questions.
Yeah, that'd be a fantastic idea, wouldn't it? 2027,
we might do that. We'll see.
Oh, no, it's been great, Bruce. I can't believe the time's gone already. It just disappears, doesn't it? The time just disappears. Like, what am I going to talk about for 2.5 hours or 2 hours? Yeah. I was just like, hang on.
We've only got 10
questions.
No problem.
I've got 10 questions. But yeah, no, I've really enjoyed it, Bruce. So let's do that. Let's have a meet up. We need probably to meet up to have a proper talk about when we get the suggestions in the comments about big hunts. We can then take some of those away and
big hunts, right?
Big hunts. Yeah. We both got bigger waistlines now, so we should be able to pack a bit more food in. Yeah, right. But we definitely do. It's definitely happening. We're going to do it. It's definitely this year. We're going to do it. Definitely going to happen
this year, as in 2024.
Yeah, definitely happening. Definitely
you heard it here, folks.
And once we've done one, we'll be back into the flow.
Into the flow. Right. Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it.
John, before you go, floor's yours, mate. Plug whatever you like, whoever you like. Over to you.
I just want to, if she's watching, my missus for supporting me, and you know, when I go away on these trips, it's hard. It is hard for her. So thanks to her for but let's say, yeah, go on, you can go. You know, even though I know she's sort of suffering. So yeah, so massive thanks to the missus and the rest of the family, of course.
Fair play.
Yeah. There you go. Keep her happy, Bruce. You've got to keep her happy, haven't you? Happy wife, happy life, and all that.
That's exactly it, brother. Folks, if you're not following Shops for whatever reason, I'll leave all the links for his YouTube channel and socials down below. Make sure you check it out. And if you like it, give him a subscribe, a follow, a like, and help spread the word. Tell your mates.
Appreciate
Cracking
it.
channel.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Dude, pleasure chatting to you.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen.
Let's do a Star Trek. Make it so.
Make it so. Such a geek. I bet he was in Dungeons and Dragons, wasn't he? I bet he was.
No, I wasn't. I wouldn't go that far. No Warhammer, no Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, he was.
None of that here, I'm afraid.
Right, folks. Hope you've enjoyed this one. Been an absolute pleasure chatting with John again. Folks, keep doing your thing. Get on out there whenever you can. Look after those that you love. But most importantly, live your life. Woo-ha.
Cheers, guys.
Dude, pleasure.
Thanks, Chris.